November, here we come.
Former State Attorney General Javier
Becerra,
riding a late surge of support over fellow Democrats to finish in the top two. His likely opponent will be Republican Steve Hilton, a British-born former Fox personality endorsed by President Trump.
Change is coming.
It might take some time to figure out where this is going. We're going to wait till every ballot is counted. We're going to give democracy a time to work, and we know we finished really strong. I'm Tom Steyer, and I'm about to ride the D.
A what now?
In this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns, and those who dig. Broadcasting from a Montana wilderness fortress at the headwaters of the Missouri, this is Matt Christiansen Live.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is Matt Christiansen Live, a proud duct tape production for Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. Thank you for tuning in. Normally, of course, on the first Monday of the first Wednesday of the month, we would see our friend Frank from Quite Frankly. Frank needs to postpone this month, so he will be in next week, next Wednesday, June 10th. We will see him then. Sitting shotgun tonight is our favorite Nougat from Nougat. Joshy Boy's here. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And he has enough hair for the both of us. Skulldugger is here as well. Welcome back.
Saddle up, partner.
Hello.
I have more hair than he does. I mean, his is just longer.
I try to give everybody taglines.
Well,
that's true.
You have to be the Nougat from Nougat.
If you undreaded your hair, yeah, you would be beating me, no problem.
Oh, dude.
If Joshy Boy straightened his hair.
Yeah.
It'll actually go past my shoulders, man.
Yeah,
it probably would. Yeah.
If you pick that all
You'd
out,
be like Rapunzel.
you'd be winning.
Oh man.
Anyway, in the news for discussion tonight, it will likely be in your state, Skulldugger, Democrat Xavier Becerra, I believe is how you say his name, but nobody really knows, against Republican Steve Hilton for California governor this fall. This despite Tom Steyer riding the D on election day. Yes, I didn't know there was a D train in Los Angeles. Have you? I know you're not in LA. Have you ever ridden the D in LA, Skulldugger?
Probably not.
Okay. I never have.
I lived in Los Angeles for a little while, and I avoided public transportation as much as I could.
If there's one place sketchier to ride public transit than BART in the Bay Area, it might be. I guess I didn't even know that LA has a train system, but I've spent so little time in LA that I wouldn't know.
Most of it's downtown, which like nobody goes to downtown Los Angeles. So downtown Los Angeles is terrible.
I believe Tom Steyer rode the D to West Hollywood, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I don't think that's where I lived. I lived in West Hollywood.
You lived in West Hollywood and you never rode the D?
No.
You were
I never did.
Small
Never
minority,
rode the D.
I guess.
Never rode any D's.
Spencer Pratt.
Los Angeles is such a car town that it's just, you need to have a car to get around. You can't rely on public transportation. So you either need a car or you need to know somebody who has a car. So.
Also, speaking of LA, Spencer Pratt likely to advance to take on Karen Bass for LA mayor. Does he actually have a chance of winning, or is this just kind of a fun thing?
So that's the race I'm actually worried about. With this fishy delay is I think they might be trying to figure out how to come up with ramen votes in order to.
I was looking at Polymarket. We'll get into it, but that Indian chick,
Noodles.
Suddenly she has a higher likelihood of winning according to Polymarket than Spencer Pratt, which I guess the theory without shenanigans would be all the other votes
mail-in.
Yeah, they all come in for her and she actually takes out Spencer Pratt, I guess.
Yeah.
But okay, we'll see if that happens. Later, after his killer is convicted of murder at the end of last week, the body cam video of Henry Nowak's arrest and death is released. And it's so bad, even the white people are rioting in southern England. Can you believe that? At every step, it's about time. At every step with this Henry Nowak case, I've read about it, I've followed. I think, I got to be missing something. That it can't be that bad. It can't be that ridiculous. No, it's actually worse. And once the body cam comes out, not only is it as described, there are layers in the body cam that are worse than we previously understood too. And then plus there's a revolt. The revolt 3-2. Let's try again. The revolt is on at CBS. Reporter Scott Pelley has been fired from the network and the 60 Minutes show. Seems like he kind of already basically quit anyway, or kind of forced his way out. But he's been raging at the new leadership, and so the guy who's been there for like 35, 40 years is now gone. Plus, we'll take calls, voicemails, emails. If you'd like to call the show live, you can do that through the Discord server linked in the description. There are instructions and help available for you on the server, courtesy of friendly producer Tim. If you'd like to leave a voicemail or text message for the show tonight, the number's in the description for you as well. Before we get into all of that, got to say hello to our featured listener-owned business for the evening. That's our friends at Hero Soap Company. When you try Hero Soap Company, not only are you getting a great smelling, all-natural product, not only can you subscribe and get soap sent straight to your door each month, but you can get signature soaps designed by yours truly. Timberline is the classic, a frosty pine experience where the forest meets the peaks. Double menthol for that high-altitude cooling effect. Or try Old West, highly underrated, people say. The sweet smell of leather and oak barrels will bust open the saloon doors. Or try any of Hero Soap's other fine offerings. Scents rotate regularly, so you can always find something fresh. You can do like I do and subscribe to get a random bar each month. So you get a great smelling surprise in your mailbox and you never have to remember soap at the store again. You might not know Hero Soap offers shampoo and conditioner as well. So even more ways to upgrade your shower. Remember, when you buy Hero Soap, you're not just getting a high quality made in the USA product. You're not just supporting this show, but you're also helping America's finest, too. A portion of every sale benefits military and first responder charities. Listeners of this show get 10% off everything from Hero Soap Company using promo code MCListener at checkout. Let freedom clean with Hero Soap Company. Promo code MCListener for 10% off site-wide. HeroSoapCompany.com. Find all the information on all our special offers at mattchristiansenmedia.com/deals. Deals by listeners for listeners. All right, back a few months ago, we had a laugh. I don't remember if you guys were on this stream or not, but there was a laugh about the professional hockey team in your neck of the woods, Joshy, the Nashville Predators, okay? Are you a Predators fan?
Well, first of all, I didn't even know we had a hockey team in Nashville, but we have a rugby team here in chat, so...
okay. Well, how many black NHL players have there been? Like one or two guys? They're a very rare breed, but they do exist.
We don't like the cold, so you're not going to see very many of us.
We need better representation in hockey for sure. But on March 26th, the Nashville Predators, they have a saber-toothed tiger as their logo. And let's pull this up here. They changed their saber-toothed tiger to a rainbow saber-toothed tiger for Pride Night. And so they became the Gay Predators for one night only. And fittingly, who did they play on Pride Night? The Predators played the Devils, okay? And the Devils emerged victorious because, of course, the Predators are Satan's subordinates. And at the time, I figured that the Predators were just doing this Pride Night in March because... hockey season for most teams is over by June. Of course, we got the Stanley Cup going on right now, but the Predators aren't likely to be playing in June, so they do Pride Night in March. I also figured, given the backlash that they received for Gay Predator Night, they wouldn't be that interested in reviving the controversy for Pride Month in June, but of course they did. So right on cue, they're doubling down. Monday morning, the Nashville Predators again became the Gay Predators. They posted a photo of their mascot, and I assume this guy's one of their players, but I don't know. But they have Gay Predator t-shirts on, Gay Sabertooth Rainbow Tigers, and they say, Happy Pride Month, Smashville.
We're about to ride the D.
Now, Joshy Boy, you might be able to inform me, why is it Smash? Okay, Smash in general has a sexual connotation. You know?
Yes,
like when you say Smash colloquially, you usually mean something sexually.
Yeah.
What do they mean by Smashville? And why is this guy in a gay saber-toothed tiger shirt wearing a hat that says Smash?
Well, I guess they're only making a reference to that because they got smashed by the Devils, but
Maybe,
I don't really know.
Or are they into smashing kids? At this point, I can't tell.
Well, one of them's a furry. I mean, look at the guy on the left.
That's their mascot.
It don't matter.
That's their gay predator mascot. Yeah.
Look, they're bordering on being the second most hated city other than Memphis. Memphis still takes the crown as being the worst city, the ass crack of Tennessee, but Nashville's on its way there with its fake
I thought Nashville was supposed to be cool, but this is not very cool.
It was cool until everybody who wasn't actual country moved there and pretended to be country.
Well, Joshy, I don't know if you knew this about your home state, but I saw this in the replies. Actually, it's not Pride Month in Tennessee. It's Nuclear Family Month by law, or at least by proclamation of the legislature and the governor, who also signed the thing.
Somehow that sounds even gayer than Pride Month.
What? Well, you don't want nuclear family celebrations?
I mean, that's fine, but it's obviously a counter to Pride Month.
That's true. It's a response. It doesn't stand.
Yeah, it's a response. It doesn't fucking count.
All right. Well,
sorry for all those people who celebrate. Well, I'm not sorry. I mean, you're a nuclear family for a reason. You're going to be that way hopefully until you all die out. But
I would think the gays would be on board with toning down the gay predator thing, though. I mean, in its own way, this is playing into the stereotype they want to defeat, that they all belong on the show with Christiansen or something like that. But this is really leaning in. And the gays don't seem, and when I say the gays, I mean the people who actually would participate in a pride event like this. They don't seem at all bothered. In fact, they seem celebratory.
So just like how there's a difference between black people and the N-words, the YNs as we call them, there is a difference between the gays and the faggots.
Yeah, right? Of course. Yeah, that's the Louis C.K. bit.
I mean, religiously speaking, they're all bad, but we can tolerate the gays. But
it's the conduct. It's the conduct that's bad. Yeah,
it's the conduct that's bad. It's the lifestyle that we rail against. But if I had to pick which side I would tolerate more, it's actually the gays and not the faggots.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. All right, it's only a matter of time before it's the Nashville faggots anyway. So we'll
I would actually support that if they actually call themselves that. Just like I've always thought about making my own sports teams. I can't say it here because for obvious reasons, but
yeah,
it'll make national news. It's like, yeah, we're a legit team.
Well, I was going to try to make some transition based on faggotry. I don't know. I mean, there's a million lines you could go with on California, but anyway. The California primary results are in, kind of. And Skulldugger, don't let me get through this segment without asking you what's going on with the vote counting, because I saw you in the Discord server talking about that. And we'll talk about the results, but you're right. It's been stuck at like 56% in since last night, it seems. But something like 55-60% of the votes are in, depending on the race that you're looking at. I assume that because this is all under the administration of the California Democrat machine, it's going to take God knows how long to count. Maybe days, maybe weeks, who knows? But we do. Go ahead if you had a thought.
No, I was just going to say, like, it's been stuck since 2:00 in the morning at about 55+%. So that would mean that in the first 7 hours, we got to 55%. And in the last 15+ hours, 16 hours, we haven't moved at all.
If I was going to guess why beyond shenanigans, could they say we know X amount of mail vote ballots went out and have not been received yet, but you don't know if those are coming. That's the problem.
So that's the current line that's being trotted out. So all of the local media is running that defense. So I mean, everybody's in line. The whole machine is working. So you've got the Democrats who basically control how the votes get counted. And then you have the media, which is all Democrat run in California. So the media is already running interference. And so what they're basically saying is that the reason why votes aren't being counted is because they're waiting for them to come in. They're basically in the mail right now. So we're supposed to believe then that 45% of the vote is currently in the mail. So 45% of the people waited until election day to put their ballot in the mail is essentially what.
Yes. So the rule in California is it has to be postmarked on election day. Is that so? It could be 11:59 p.m. election day.
Well, I mean, your mail,
theoretically.
it has to be by the time your mail gets picked up that day.
Right. So let's say the post office was open at 11:59, which, is not the case, but whatever closing hour is, it can be postmarked that day and it counts. Okay.
Yes. If it is postmarked on election day, it will still count. And so the fishy thing about this was, leading into the election, they were already, the messaging was already that it was going to take a long time to count the votes, and that the results probably were not going to be in and known until deep into Wednesday was what the messaging was.
Well, we're now deep into Wednesday.
Well, so that's what the messaging was on
Wednesday.
Monday. That's what the messaging was on Monday and Tuesday. So once the votes started getting counted and it started showing positive favoring for the Republicans, then all of a sudden the messaging switched to, this could take days or weeks. So it switched from taking hours to taking days, possibly weeks, to count as soon as they started seeing what the results the results coming in were.
Right. So the implication being there's some Democrat utility to increased delay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that tells them how many votes they need to possibly manufacture.
Yeah, why does this take so long? I remember when
it doesn't.
You were informed of your winner that night.
Those were the days. Yeah.
We don't take this long in presidential elections. It only ends up showing up in these in the statewide elections.
Races that are theoretically competitive, you say. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, mine came and went. Well, so
we do know enough to report some theoretical results. We'll see if these change according to whatever these mail-in ballots, whatever the votes on those mail-in ballots are. But for governor, we do know basically for sure that long shot chance of two Republicans facing off against each other because of California's jungle primary, that's dead.
That's been dead. That's been dead since Eric Swalwell dropped out. That's been dead for
I'm surprised that Democrats didn't consolidate their candidates earlier. I don't know why. We'll get to Katie Porter in a second, but the Katie Porters and the San Jose mayor guy and Eric Swalwell even got like 20,000 votes himself. Now he was gone, but people are, I don't know who the Swalwell voters are, but they're still out there. Anyway, so as of this hour, you have Trump-endorsed Republican candidate Steve Hilton actually getting the largest share of the votes, at least so far. He's at about 28%. Democrat Xavier Becerra,
Javier Baccaria,
or Jose Diarrhea, currently second, 25%, 26%. Those two are your likely to advance. That will probably be the matchup you see in the general election.
Correct.
Tom Steyer, though, not dead yet. He's at 20%. He's in the ballpark. He hasn't conceded. And then you have the other Republican candidate, Chad Bianco, the former Riverside County sheriff, down at 11%. And just an abysmal performance for Katie Porter, who I think staked a lot of her political future on the possibility of winning this governor's election. And just, I mean, she might as well have been Eric Swalwell and raped people. That's how bad, or allegedly raped, just, in case Eric's lawyers want to come after me. Although I saw the video, you weirdo.
She was too busy pouring scalding hot mashed potatoes on people's heads.
I hope that her ex-husband is safe and secure, because she is coming at him with a pot of potatoes. She's so angry. She's got that boiling pot ready to go. Okay. And I know as a practical matter that this doesn't really matter. There's a lot of celebration on social. Oh, Steve Hilton won, air quotes, won. First of all, there's a million more votes to come in, like Skulldugger saying. Second of all, winning when there's so many candidates is like a small plurality of the vote. So when we actually see Javier Baccaria against Steve Hilton, what is that going to look like? And unfortunately, I would love to be optimistic about the ability of anybody but a Democrat to win in California. It's not going to happen. Now, the reason I'm really bummed is not the practical result of the election. It's what I had hoped for in terms of comedy. Tom Steyer, hilarious candidate. Sucks that he's gone, or at least effectively gone. Katie Porter.
So Tom Steyer is out of hippie counties. He's won all the hippie counties.
Yeah.
There's no more hippie counties left. He's already taken them all, so he's done.
Katie Porter, hilarious candidate. Sucks that she's gone. Javier Baccaria, watching from afar, it seems like he won from the Democrats' perspective, basically by just shutting the hell up and letting the other idiots embarrass themselves. And that was his strategy. And it looks like it worked.
Absolutely what he did. And so all of his ads were basically that he's part of the Democratic establishment. He was part of the Obama campaign. He was part of the Obama administration. He's part of the Biden administration. And so he's just running off of name recognition and the fact that he's been, part of the political machine, and that everybody else in this is basically like an up and comer or an outsider. And that's basically how he ran, which was very smart, actually.
Well, before we bid farewell to many of these candidates, I want to make sure that the comedy candidates are paid their proper respects. Katie Porter conceded the race early last night, which itself is comedy, because to concede implies you had a realistic shot at victory. She was never really in the race. I think
she was actually overperforming. So she had not polled more than 3%.
I thought she got up to like 10.
She got up there a little bit in the like Polymarket and Kalshi, but never in the polls.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
The polls never had her above 3%, and for a while she was at about 5% on the votes. So it's pretty good. Once they're all counted, though, she might be down in that 3%. So
depends on your benchmark of good. Again, this is a candidate who, remember the way that she mocked and scoffed at that reporter, I think it was Sacramento CBS, which is part of the montage I'm about to play. But that lady asked her, how do you plan to win Trump voters who you'll need to become governor? And she just laughed at the idea that she would need anyone outside of her base to be victorious. Meanwhile, her actual base is basically nobody, it turns out.
Couple hundred thousand people.
But here is Katie Porter's entirely unnecessary concession video, part of it at least.
The votes are still being counted, and it may take a few days here in California to have final numbers, but we know tonight that we will not advance to the general election in November. Running a race like this isn't easy, and coming up short is hard, but democracy is worth doing hard things for. Stay in the fight, stay in touch, and thank you for believing in me.
All right, so a little petty thing here and there. I was glad she changed her position to be more centered, because that first bit was driving me crazy.
Oh, you mean just her placement in the video frame? Well, first of all, she recorded vertically, so fuck that bitch.
So she already screwed up.
If you're going to record vertically, you better be centered. Fair enough.
Yeah, but also nobody got her shot this time. I guess they took that warning seriously.
I'm about to get to that point. Now, when she says, thank you for believing me, I'm conceding, again, the implication being that you ever had a prospect at victory. Thank you for believing in me, again, presumes anybody did, which I see very little evidence to support. But now she's gone. Again, we don't know when, if ever, this lolcow is coming back to pasture. This might be the end of it. So, per tradition, we will remember Katie Porter.
Get out of my fucking shot. Stay out of my shot.
Look at that troll face.
I've never had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end an
reporter?
interview. I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you either.
I can't believe that on a stage with 30 minutes of interrupting and bickering and name calling and shouting and disrespect for everyone up here who's stepping into public service, that anyone wants to talk about my temperament.
You were actually interrupting them too. I don't know why you want to act like you weren't.
Oh, cowboy.
Steve and I sat here smiling at each other because we're just watching you all prove to everyone why they can't vote for a Democrat.
No,
she looks like she does.
Please get out of my shot.
That's a huge bitch.
You were in her shot, Joshy.
All right, Katie, Katie, it's now time for you to get out of our shot.
Get out of my fucking shot.
It's always her shot. Interesting that her weapon of choice is mashed potatoes, like you said, Josh. If people don't know that she was accused in divorce filings of weaponizing scalding hot mashed potatoes against her ex-husband. She looks like a sack of mashed potatoes, and I say that with full credit that Katie Porter has in fact lost a significant amount of weight by her appearance, but it looks like a Zemp out to me. It looks like a formerly plump sack of potatoes was half eaten. You know, like
it was steamed. How about that?
It still doesn't look healthy. Okay.
They went in, they dug through and threw out the ones that were starting to rot.
Yes. Yeah. Like anyway, you can always tell the Zemp out. It never looks quite right. Okay. Likewise, Tom Steyer came up short. This, of course, is the billionaire candidate who hates billionaires and wants to tax them out of existence, but never surrenders his own money for some reason.
Of course.
Tom Steyer did not concede, and he knows full well that California Democrats are going to keep on counting, though, as Skulldugger says, are they, is the machine counting for Tom Steyer, or is, whatever he was going to get out of those hippie counties up by like Eureka or wherever those places are.
So he is one of the hopefuls for if the machine is working, he is one of the ones that would be benefiting from.
Oh, you think so? So he's not
they would need to, if there's any hope for getting Steve Hilton out.
Becerra,
Becerra's already going to make it. So the only way
that's
to get
why
Steve Hilton out is to get Steyer in.
You're right. I'm totally misunderstanding here. So Steyer would be the beneficiary of the ops because he's the second place Democrat, right? Not because I'm thinking of him as like sort of an enemy of the Democrat machine in general, not their preferred guy like maybe Javier Baccaria is, but they need him to eliminate Hilton. That makes sense.
Correct.
So he's not conceding yet.
No, he's one of the reasons why this might go into next week.
Gosh, so long.
He knows they're going to be counting for days. He's got his fingers crossed.
I think it's mainly for Ramen. I don't think Steyer is really got much of a chance here, especially because Hilton is currently leading Becerra. So you're right. So you need a boost for basically both guys to overcome Hilton. Yeah. I think Becerra is going to finish number one. I think that is going to happen. But I don't think the votes are there for Steyer unless the machine is really good at manufacturing votes.
But Tom Steyer took the stage and said he's going to wait for all the votes to be counted. This was last night.
It might take some time to figure out where this is going. We're going to wait till every ballot is counted. We're going to give democracy a time to work, and we know we finished really strong.
So he finished really strong, but not strong enough, and this despite Tom Steyer's PR efforts and his stunt work earlier on Tuesday. And sometimes a politician posts a joke or a bit so cringe that for me, it's impossible to understand. Like, I know that Tom Steyer and his people know what this means. All right? It's not obliviousness that explains what they're doing, but it still makes no sense why you would mean that or what you're trying to do. So yesterday, Tom Steyer made the Pride Month announcement that he rides the D. For a campaign announcement Monday. So this was posted on Monday. Tomorrow, June 2nd, Tom Steyer to ride the D line in Los Angeles, as in the public transit train. Now you might think, okay, they're just saying the D line in this post. All right, as written here, it's not that ridiculous. That I get. It's the D line. It's kind of funny, but this post itself is not that ridiculous. But then Tom Steyer shows up at the D line and records a video to say he is indeed about to ride the D.
I'm Tom Steyer, and I'm about to ride the D.
Okay.
That is one sweet train. It's fast and clean.
It's fascinating how empty it looked.
I'm sure it was cleared out for him. Yeah, nobody's allowed in that car except for that other guy with the shirt that he gave a guy a shirt that says "Ride the D," or what is? Did he just find a guy wearing a shirt?
No, that's the guy he rode right there. He finished strong on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it is West Hollywood. There's going to be a lot of people who are pro riding the D, so that might just be the shirt you wear in Los Angeles.
It was complete with text that said, "I'm riding the D on election day." And then when they posted the video, they had the sense to put train in parentheses. I ride the D train on election day. And it's hard for me to understand what the staff over at Tom Steyer's campaign are thinking, but their rejected messaging for this stunt has actually leaked. There were a few other options that they had considered, and they decided to go with this one instead. So they had considered Tom Steyer takes a spin on the D. That didn't sound quite right. Tom Steyer hops on the D. They tried Tom Steyer bends over and spreads his cheeks for the D.
Boom. That's disgusting.
So I guess Tom
Steyer can't get enough of the D.
When you consider the rest of the options, like Tom riding the D was not the worst pick, I guess.
So this has to be the result of either there not being any millennials or Zoomers in his campaign, or there are, and they were the ones doing the trolling, and he is unaware of the fact that he's being trolled.
But that's exactly, this is what I don't understand, is Tom Steyer has to know what he's doing. I'm riding the D on election day wearing a Pride Month lapel sticker.
Have you heard this guy talk? I don't.
Yeah, he loves trannies, dude. All he does is talk about trannies. He has to know what he's doing. But I don't get the benefits. I don't understand. Is it just like, look how gay I am in West Hollywood?
It might be.
Ride the D like the rest of you. Is that what he's doing? Yeah. I have AIDS. Here's my diagnosis from the doctor. I'm fresh out of the clinic. I mean, is that what he's doing?
I work around people his age, and sometimes you'd be amazed that as long as they've been around, there are just certain things they are indeed unaware of.
So you think both of you have to take a stance. You're voting oblivious? Tom Steyer's oblivious to the meeting?
No, I actually think he knows what this means, because you can see the look on his face when he says this.
I agree that I think he knows. I just don't know for what purpose he thinks this is beneficial.
He's trying to, the youngsters, right? Well, I say the youngsters like I'm not young myself, but he's doing this for the millennials, for the Zoomers, and all this other stuff. He's trying to, the ones that can vote, he's trying to get their votes. Say, see, look, I'm funny. How do you do?
I mean, it is funny.
So he wants to be memed? Like that, the goal is to be memed?
I mean, look at Trump. He's memed, and people love it. Well, not everybody loves
He's not memed for this reason very often, though.
No, but to be memed means you might have potential that people might think you're a cool guy or down to earth guy, so they'll vote for you. So
maybe it is just attention seeking. Like even if it's negative attention, it's still beneficial. I guess.
Yeah, I guess. And it's I mean, to be fair, it's on election day, so it can't. I mean, how far is it going to hurt you at that point? Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an explanation for this, unless he really is gay and this is him just.
Then why not just come on right out with it?
I don't know. Well, let's talk about the
He's
mayoral
weird, man.
candidates
Have you
in
listened
LA.
to this guy? Tom Steyer is a weird dude.
Well, this video was enough to prove that. So
he's a weird guy.
The other significant election is who's going to run the D, who's going to oversee the D. That would be the mayor in LA, and incumbent mayor Karen Bass advanced to the general election because somehow things apparently still aren't hellish enough for Democrats in LA to vote for literally anybody else. I'd vote for a pile of hobo crap on the street before I'd vote for Karen Bass. I'm surprised they won't.
I'm surprised you said hellish due to the fact that she let our whole city burn.
Well, I said that. I don't think she said that, but
yeah, that's what I mean.
But I mean, yeah, exactly. Like she was in Africa while your city was burning down, and that's still okay with you, I guess. Yeah. Which is the whole reason that Spencer Pratt is really in the race, is his house got burned down. So
yeah, he lives in a trailer on his lot, his empty lot, where his house burned down.
Because he can't build, I take it. Like there have been very few rebuilds, right?
There's only been one. Well, and here's the thing is, and this is something that Sean over at Actual Justice Warrior has reported on a couple times. The only rebuild that has happened was one that was already approved for demolition and reconstruction before the fire.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So the fire just did the demo work, and so they already had the permit in hand to do the rebuild.
Okay, so that doesn't even count, really.
No, it doesn't even count. Yeah. That is the only vertical project that has happened since the fire.
Some people think that this was a setup to build a new kind of like smart city. In a way, I've heard that rumor.
It's like the Hawaii fires. Remember when people? That was the theory about those. There
are no smart cities in California. I can attest.
Well, touche. Okay, as it stands now, very similar to the governor's race, about 60% of the votes in.
So
Karen Bass.
This is the one that is most likely the cause for the fraud. This is the cause for the delay is most likely to get Ramen the votes in order to get Pratt out of there, so that it's
her name is actually Ramen. Now, I thought you were making a joke about the noodles, but that's
that's her. Her nickname is Noodles. Yeah, her nickname is Noodles.
Oh, okay. So
are you kidding?
The Indian chick is named Ramen. Now, I don't know. Are ramen noodles an Indian food? I guess I don't know the origin of them. They seem like they'd be Indian.
They're Japanese.
They smell like they'd be Indian.
Well, they have different. You know, I was about to go into a full-blown explanation. You was making a joke, so let me shut up.
We'll come back to the origin of ramen noodles later if we need to. But Nithya Ramen, noodle lady, she's okay. So it's Karen Bass about 35%, Spencer Pratt about 30%, and ramen noodle lady about 23%. So she's close, not super close, but she's within striking distance if the machine does its work potentially. As it stands now, one would assume it's going to be Karen Bass versus Spencer Pratt. Let's assume for the sake of this discussion that the machine is not actually operating for the ramen noodle lady against Karen Bass, and it becomes Spencer Pratt against Karen Bass. Is there any world in which Spencer Pratt actually wins?
Wins the election?
Yeah, the general.
In November? No.
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of my thinking.
Well, I mean, it depends. It depends on what the ground game is. That's always
his
going
odds
to be...
are sinking throughout the day. This is the weird thing too, is ramen noodle late. He was at like 14-15% earlier today on Polymorph.
It's the machine. Everybody's worried about this machine. Everybody trusts that the machine knows what it's doing. Why else would you need a week to count votes that are normally counted within 24 hours?
I also think it's due to the fact that dude is a white guy. He's going up against two colored ladies.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Am I allowed to say that, by the way?
There's still a select. Well, of course, you can say whatever word you want. You don't have a colored pass. You're telling me you're that black and you don't have a colored pass?
Dude, I lost every card I can think of. It's all right. That includes the man card and the straight card.
Now, just on the general premise that LA City is like 75% Democrat voters, there's no way, plus the machine itself, there's no way that Spencer Pratt can actually win. No. However, if you want to look optimistically, if you wanted to take the other side of it, Karen Bass is an incumbent, and assuming that the 60% of the vote that's in is representative, that is some 65% of the voting population voting against her. Now, are they against her enough to vote for someone like Spencer Pratt, who officially is nonpartisan in this race, but is a registered Republican? Probably not. The only thing I could say in Pratt's favor is, number one, he has to advance, and number two, Karen Bass has to be a uniquely hated incumbent, which if anybody could, maybe her, but that's the best you can really say for it.
Well, that's why the machine wants to get Noodles into this election, because she's basically the Mamdani of the West Coast. Like she's very similar in her policy proposals to Mamdani. So she is the young socialist. She's further left than Karen Bass is.
Karen Bass is the moderate.
And so the machine is trying to move further and further left here in California. And like one of the things that they're running into is the establishment Democrats who don't necessarily want to push that far left. But the operational machine is the ground game machine definitely wants to go like full blown socialist.
Well, check back in like a month for official results, and then we'll evaluate what's happening next in California.
All I've got to say for ramen noodles that if she wins, we're going to see a lot more Indian truck drivers everywhere.
I don't know if they're already out there. Can she bring any more of them? I mean, what more could California do to accommate the Indian truck drivers?
So as far as Pratt's chances of winning, if Noodles is no longer in the race, it's really weird because Noodles is kind of an opposition candidate to Bass. So it's just a matter of are there enough disaffected Democrat voters who are currently voting for Ramen who would then vote for Pratt in order to vote against Bass. And that's the sort of the wild card there is it's hard to imagine, given what their policy proposals are, that there's much overlap between a Ramen voter and a Pratt voter. But if the entire idea is voting against Bass, then there's a chance that you're going to get some of the Raman votes into Pratt's camp. But he's going to have a perfect executed ground game and really just stick it to Bass, make her look, just keep banging on the incompetence and the fact. But I mean, these are all things that these people already know. They already know about the fire. Like nobody doesn't know about the fire. So this is all stuff that was already baked into this election. So if Bass is already getting enough votes to progress through this, it's not looking good.
Well, I want to leave plenty of time to get into the Henry Nowak body cam video, because Matt and I were talking about the conviction of the killer, Vikram Digwa, on Sunday. And I knew based on what had happened at trial that there was body cam. And I guess I don't know what the process is over in the UK, but I never thought this body cam would see the light of day. And then come Monday morning, this body cam is out there. So this happened, of course, in Southampton, England. And if people don't remember the Henry Nowak case, quickly, this is the case of a college freshman. His name is Henry Nowak, and he was murdered in December by a Sikh guy carrying a ceremonial blade. That's Henry right there. And this ceremonial blade is called a kirpan. It was like an 8-inch blade. Mm-hmm. And Henry's walking home at midnight. He was out at the bars with some of his soccer friends. Toxicology showed his blood alcohol content was under the legal limit for driving. So it sounds like he had a drink or two, but he was not drunk at the time of this confrontation. He was recording Snapchat videos to send to his friends. While he's recording these videos, he's confronted by this Sikh guy named Vikram Digwa. And he calls in the video, which as far as I'm aware, is not public, but I've seen reporting on it. He calls Digwa a bad man, and then Digwa agrees and says, yeah, I am a bad man. And the video cuts, and at some point Digwa stabs Henry Nowak with this ceremonial blade of his. Nowak runs away. Digwa's brother calls 911 or 999 as it is over there, claiming his brother was racially attacked by Henry Nowak. And so police arrived. Nowak tells them that he's been stabbed. Police don't really believe him. They handcuff him on suspicion of racial abuse, as reported to them, before they actually render medical aid. And Henry dies after bleeding out at the scene. And as I said at the top of the show, in every step of this story, which I had heard about, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, something like that, I've thought, no, that's ridiculous. This story came to my attention in the Discord server, actually. There's got to be more to that story. That doesn't sound right. Who's going to handcuff a guy bleeding to death after being stabbed in this way? That doesn't make any sense. It can't be that bad. Must be missing something. And then it turns out it is that bad. It's actually worse. And the video is the final confirmation of all the things that we've heard about this story. Police not believing Nowak that he's been stabbed, handcuffing him, reading him his rights instead of rendering medical aid. He's dying. The last thing he probably heard is his rights being read to him. And Henry Nowak even said the George Floyd line, I can't breathe. I can't breathe, while the arresting cop appears to mock him. Here's some of that body cam video.
What's happened to you, all right? Been stabbed. You've been stabbed? Whereabouts? Don't think you have, mate. Hand? I can't breathe. Put the hand in the cuff, mate. Yeah.
This is like numerous times this has happened to us. We've been walking, we parked literally.
What's your name, mate? At the moment you are under arrest, and that's for assault, so you do not have to say anything, may harm in defence. If you do not mention your own questions, it's up to which you later rely in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence, alright? It's going to be sick, I think.
All right. When I say mocking, and maybe that's too strong of a word, but what I'm referring to is the police officer saying there, Henry's saying, I've been stabbed. I don't think you have, mate. So mockery or dismissal.
It's a nonchalant kind of
yes
approach.
Well, yeah, but when you pair that with the way that the police have been reacting at his vigil.
I didn't see that. You mean, no, I've seen the riots, which we'll get into, but are you saying there was police provocation or what?
There's footage of police laughing at his vigil.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Smiling and smirking.
I haven't seen that, but
it's pretty bad. Like I don't know what the hell is wrong with these these police officers in the UK. Like there's something that is a mental depravity to
if that's what it appears to be. Without seeing it, I wouldn't know, but
I mean, just the way that they're just the way they're reacting to this guy. He's like incapacitated on the ground, and you don't think that there's something
that's what's
a reason for that?
Hard for me to understand. He's bleeding to death, and the reports are that he had a severed artery somewhere internally, and I guess he was bleeding internally into his chest cavity, and perhaps drowned on his own blood type effect. I don't want to be too brutal with the description here, but something like it doesn't look like there's a bunch of blood spilling externally.
No, he bled into his internal organs, essentially.
Yeah.
So he could not physically sit up. Like he could not activate the muscles and do the actual act of sitting himself up. They had to pull him out from under a car. Like, you don't do you think he's just like taking a nap? Is he just sleeping one off?
So he was. I know he ran away. So he was hiding under the car. That's a part I hadn't.
No, that's where
before.
He collapsed. He was trying to run away
Okay.
from these guys. Well, they cornered him in between a car and a garage, and he collapsed in between the car and the garage. And so when the cops get there at the beginning of that body footage, they actually have to physically grab him and drag him out from under this car.
And when you hear, when you actually listen to that clip there, the police officer's reading him his Miranda rights, at least as we'd call them in the U.S. And at that point, Nowak is non-responsive. He's not even saying, I guess you have the right to remain silent. Maybe he's just exercising his rights. But it appears to me, based on the body cam there, that he's not really, he's fading quick at that point. And they're still going through this legal formality as though he's lying about being stabbed and as though he's actually fine. And as part of this body cam video, as you mentioned, Skulldugger, so what happens is you have this confrontation with Vikram Digwa. His brother's there. He lives nearby. His entire family is actually a part of this whole thing. And it's actually the brother who called 911 or 999. We'll get to that in a moment, but his brother is present. And so you have police in the body cam video actually talking to the two brothers, Vikram Digwa and his brother. And Digwa is saying this lie, what we now know to be a lie, that he was racially attacked, that Nowak aggressed upon him and knocked off his turban. Pull that up.
Has anyone been hurt other than him?
Yeah, me. He's grabbed my brother. He's took my turban off, started grabbing my head.
Are you injured?
Yeah, I've got swollen eye, little bruises.
All right, just step back a little bit for me.
Okay, and he's making this claim that Nowak had grabbed his hair. There's other surveillance video that was presented at the trial that showed that Digwa was actually chasing Nowak with his hair still tight, so that undercuts the idea that it was Nowak who had pulled
Depending
his
on
hair
how the Sikh turban is tied, if it is tied in a traditional manner, those are not easy to just yank off. They're multiple layers. I mean, some of those things are like 20 feet long.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I've never tried to yank on a Sikh turban. I'll take your word for it.
I wouldn't. I grew up around Sikhs, and one of the things you learn early on is those guys carry knives, and so I'm not. We're good, bro. I'm not touching you.
So we also have this 911 call, or again the 999 call, as they call it over there. But Digwa's brother makes this call to police, and again, he's claiming that Digwa was racially attacked by Henry Nowak.
Police emergency.
Yeah, we just been attacked by someone racially. Yeah, this.
Right.
He just attacked it. Took us to start off. Sorry? Huh? Sorry, we just got attacked racially by some white person.
Right, okay. Whereabouts are you?
We're on Belmont Road.
Just out in the street, are you?
Sorry?
You're just in the street?
Yeah, literally. I just parked up my car to come home, and he's attacked my brother.
So that's the story we've heard from both of these brothers. It was all a racial attack that Henry Nowak did to them. But what's interesting about that 999 call, there's a bleep in there. And I don't know what that bleep is. What is the bleep? Is it for reasons of vulgarity? Is it some kind of private information? Why is that bleeped? And if it is bleeped because, say, it's, I don't know, an anti-white slur or something, again, speculation. I don't know what the content behind that bleep is. But if it is something like that, then this is actually the exact opposite of what police were told, of what these guys told them, and what police apparently believed at the scene. they said they were the victims of a racial attack when in fact it looks like potentially this was a racially motivated murder. We know it was a murder. It's just, did they do it because of Henry's race? We don't necessarily know. But do you have any insight on what, or guess about what might be behind that bleep? I don't know what the bleep in the 999 call is.
No.
Probably just the fact that while the call was being made, the guy who murdered him was yelling maybe something racial towards the victim.
Yeah, is it as simple as that? He said a bad word, so they bleep it out? Why? I don't know. It's kind of
the only thing I can think of. Excuse me if I'm all over the place. It's the fact that if they left that in, that this guy was calling him names and whatnot instead of the other way around, it would not have helped this case. I mean, it didn't help his case anyway.
So they continue to protect the murderer, you're saying?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I think it's a way to cover it up for that.
Could be.
Now, there's also this video circulating. This video is supposedly a prior road rage incident with this killer, Vikram Digwa, in the video. I'll get to that in a second. Now, I guess this is Digwa and his brother, at least that's the claim. I've not seen confirmation of this, just the claim. So I do emphasize, take this one with a grain of salt, but potentially that's what we're looking at here. In this video, we can see a guy who, again, may be Digwa. There's, his ceremonial Sikh blade on his left hip. And there's some kind of road rage, roadway dispute going on here. And you got the guy who's claimed to be Digwa brandishing this blade, making threats, and I guess wearing this very bizarre traditional Sikh clothing.
Come on! Come, recording him. Come on, man. Please. You got big problem, mate. You got big problem. Not nice.
Why are you recording on the ground? Damn.
In vertical.
Go back to where you come from, okay?
It's even worse than Katie Porter.
I want the person who's recording this to be arrested.
Yeah. I mean, look, I know I'm not the greatest at recording stuff, but shit, if you're trying to record evidence, it will help if you don't point your phone downwards to the ground where you can't see what's happening. People do that a lot, and it just pisses me off to no end. Quickly, I did look up the knife, Kirpan.
Kirpan, yeah.
Yeah, Kirpan. And there's some ironic meanings behind it, the etymology of it. It says it means mercy, grace, compassion, and kindness, and honor and dignity. None of that was shown that night.
Yeah, so, if it means that as a symbol, it didn't have that effect in practical terms. That's for sure. Now, to the point on the outfit, I had no idea what this is. I thought the same thing. Like, is this a tranny Sikh, or what am I looking at? What, Mrs. Doubtfire the Sikh? I have no idea. So in the Discord server, Turles tells me his guess. He's not a Sikh expert either, I gather, but it's what the Sikhs call a chola, which is ceremonial or traditional Sikh dress, and I mean clothing and an actual dress. It's unisex. It's a unisex dress that Sikhs wear, apparently. So that's what we're looking at. Whatever these sandals are look really feminine too. I don't know. I don't know what really this whole, they're a little bit chopped on this cropping. Sorry. I could probably try to let me see if I can get a closer look at these sandals. Yeah, I don't know. They do look like feminine footwear. But there's this giant blade on his hip, so yeah. And he's got a spear, this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of a sucker when it comes to like medieval-esque things like this, so I'm not going to make fun of it too hard. So that's being my
That's it. You're just you're a Kirpan appreciator, and we'll just move on.
Well, yeah, I'm not a Kirpan appreciator. I just like the.
All right. Well, in addition to the murder itself and the body cam, the rest of the story is about the reaction. And at this point, Reform UK party leader Nigel Farage might be getting more heat publicly than the actual murderer, Vikram Digwa. After the release of the body cam video, Nigel Farage posted his reaction saying it's obvious that UK police are scared to be called racist. So in effect, they respect the rights of white people less than racial minorities.
He was actually treated in a way that meant an accusation of a racial slur was treated more seriously than an act of murder. What does he say? I can't breathe. Familiar words? Remember career criminal George Floyd, who died in appalling circumstances in Midwest America a few years ago. Remember the reaction to that and the way the police behaved. Within a few days, Keir Starmer was taking the knee. Black Lives Matter exploded all over the country. Churchill's statue was defaced, the cenotaph was vandalised. And yet, what has the public reaction been from our leaders and politicians, and indeed, to be frank, much of the media to this? Silence. Absolute silence. Proof, if ever there was any, that we're living in a two-tier culture in this country where the rights and privileges of white people matter less than those of ethnic minorities.
I'm generally familiar with Farage. I don't follow UK politics extremely closely, but his commentary there on George Floyd seemed to imply that he thinks Chauvin is at fault. Am I understanding that?
That's what I gathered.
Incorrectly?
He said appalling situation. It's like, dude, Let me.
It is appalling. George Floyd's behavior is appalling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Derek Chauvin, I don't think is at. Derek Chauvin.
He's not.
Had to deal with George Floyd, so I have a lot of sympathy for that.
Yeah. So even in this outrage, the British proved to be too polite. This is why I lost respect for them. Hopefully,
if only
these
they had
riots that
better
you're about to-
blades like the Sikhs, then maybe they'd be respectable.
No, look, I know they're Anglican over there, and that's fine. But if they just did what their kings have done and just banish all the foreigners and just reenact that xenophobia they once had, then I think they'll be all right.
All right. He also added that, did Nigel Farage, that Brits, this is the controversial commentary, Brits should, to your point, Joshy, they should embrace pure, cold rage in reaction.
Henry's family have responded to this in just the most extraordinarily dignified way. But I suggest the rest of us respond to this with pure, cold rage. This is wrong. All the values and standards of living in a free country where everybody is judged equally before the law have been trashed and thrown away.
So now, because Farage said that, pure cold rage, that means that some of the rowdy protests, indeed riots that are now happening, are Nigel Farage's fault. Not Southampton police, not what happened to Henry Nowak, just because Nigel Farage said pure cold rage, which of course is not even a violent phrase itself at all. You can be experiencing pure cold rage and not be violent in any way.
I don't know about that. I think there is a little bit.
Is there a context I'm missing?
I think if you embrace rage and violence happens, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised at that.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is,
like, just to be fair, if a Democrat had said this in the United States and then a riot broke out, what would your reaction be?
I would not call it incitement or the fault of that Democrat. Pure cold rage?
I mean,
I don't know. I think there would be some conversation about that.
Also, there's the question of what are you angry about? You know, that does matter. And generally, not always, but I think anger about this case is much more justified than your typical Democrat cause. Yeah. It's not me saying go attack cops, but
I would say there is justifiable rage. I'm not saying that rage is inherently a negative thing. There's justifiable reasons to rage out on something. But I'm just saying that rage implies that violence is imminent.
That's fair, but at the same time, if you think about it this way from a civil rights perspective, right? There was rage of how the blacks were being treated from the bus, and so they expressed their rage by simply boycotting I think it was the Montgomery bus, and they ran out of money or had to go bankrupt. So that could be an example of expressing your rage without violence. So that's why I can't necessarily agree that what he's saying is borderline incitement to violence, because there's different ways to express it.
Well, and if the rage is justified, if we're operating within that premise, I don't want to mischaracterize Skulldugger's position, but if there is a justified rage and you're saying, I believe rage is justified in this case, which is what Farage is saying, is there moral culpability to that? If someone goes too far and does something violent on behalf of it, if the rage is justified, you have to be justified in expressing it. Are you not?
Well, I'm not saying that any of these riots are not, I'm not condemning these riots. If the police will not enforce the safety of the public, then at what point?
No, at what point
there's no point to subject yourself to the authority of the police if the police are not going to be there to protect you. They do not serve. They do not protect. They are serving some other agenda, and as long as that is the case, then take to the streets, rage out,
and
do it.
And
well, now you sound like Nigel.
Well, at this
I'm okay.
point, though,
I'm okay with what Nigel said. Yes, he did incite some violence, but I think some violence was necessary.
So you're saying these two things are connected, but would you say that for someone who attacks a police officer or injures a police officer, which we'll get to in a moment, would you say that Nigel Farage is morally responsible for that though, or just that they're linked?
Morally responsible for somebody else's actions? No.
Okay. I mean, that is
whoever committed the violence is responsible for the violence.
And I actually think that this stuff would be going on whether Nigel Farage said nothing or said pure cold rage. I think people are organically pissed off about this.
I don't think so? Not to this scale.
Okay, I guess Nigel Farage maybe has more political influence than I realize, but I think people are organically pissed off about this. I don't think it necessarily matters.
I think they are
what he says.
But there's a difference in the UK. It's they didn't take to the streets in violence during the rape gang scandal.
That's true.
And that I would say is worse than this.
Nobody said pure cold rage then, though they should have. Yeah. Well, let me talk about the riots a little bit in more specific terms, because we do have these riots breaking out again. You got Keir Starmer saying that Nigel Farage is exploiting this tragedy to create grievance and division. These sorts of scenes implicitly being Nigel Farage's fault. And what we're watching. So what happened is you got all these people protesting in Southampton where this happened. Reportedly hundreds of people. They decide they're going to march on the neighborhood where this murder happened and where Vikram Digwa and his family live, and police then intervene and stop them from actually getting close to the Digwa household, and then things get a little bit violent. According to reports, you have some 11 police officers and a police dog injured. You had 2 people arrested, which given the injuries, I'm surprised there were only 2 arrested, maybe more arrests forthcoming. You can see there's kind of a trail of debris and just stuff that was thrown around, bricks, bottles, that sort of thing. So your general rioting type behavior. And as far as targeting the family, we can talk about whether that is fair or not. I will emphasize the family is actually part of the crime in this case. The mom is charged. I'm not sure if she was convicted yet. I'll have to look that up and remind myself. But the mom actually she was charged with taking the knife from the scene and hiding it at the family home. So the mom is part of this cover up. You have the brother falsely reporting to police that this was some kind of racial attack. So again, this is not me saying automatic mob justice like pitchfork mobs outside of homes are automatically justified. It is me saying that the family is necessarily part of what happened here. The Digwa family, they're not just kind of innocent people who happen to be related to the guy who did this. And I want to return to your point, Skulldugger, because in general, these sorts of grievances, however justified, and I believe this one is very justified, for a functional country, you don't want to handle this by mob. You want to handle this through the political process. However, as you were saying, when the political process is importing foreign hordes to the point that the British may soon become, or in future decades, become a minority in their own country, at some point that political process will expire. It's not me saying, great, I hope that happens. It's just recognizing the reality. When the government no longer serves its purpose of defending the rights of the people, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. I remember Thomas Jefferson wrote something about that. And now he's not necessarily against the redcoats. Now Thomas Jefferson can be on the redcoat team and restore their prior dignity. But if you guys had further thoughts about this, I invite them, and then we'll close up this topic.
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it. Like when the government, when the levers of government fail to do anything, these people have no other recourse to be heard other than to do it violently. Like when your government has failed you and is making excuses and covering for the actual offenders around you. So you are being offended. Your culture is being offended. Your society is being offended, is being imposed upon. And the people who are supposed to be doing something about it are doing nothing. and you've petitioned them. There's been multiple petitions to the government to do something about this, and they get batted away as bigotry and xenophobia and all that stuff. If you're going to be treated as the problem as you're watching the problem expand around you, I don't understand what it is you're supposed to do if not lash out. Yes,
lay
violently.
down and die, I guess.
Yeah, that is the alternative. And get stabbed and die, bleed out internally. Bleed, I guess internally. I guess it's not out, but I mean, bleed to death through internal injuries in somebody else's driveway. That's what you're supposed to do. Like Henry Nowak did basically what they want the British people to do. He got stabbed and he just took it and he died. That's what they want. So if that's what your government wants from you, you don't have to lie down in somebody else's driveway and bleed to death from a stab wound. You take it to the streets and you demonstrate, and if it gets violent, it gets violent. This is a absolutely justified extension of violence. Violence is not always a negative thing. Violence is completely necessary in certain circumstances. That's
especially
how we got
Minecraft
our freedom. Yes,
and Call of Duty,
especially in Minecraft. That's how we got our freedom in this country.
No, I know it is very interesting. I've seen a lot of X threads to this effect too, where people. I forget the exact. I think it was in the Nowak context, but there was a very interesting thread I was reading where many seemed to grant the premise that violence is inherently immoral, which is, of course, incorrect. There's a such thing called self-defense.
Yes,
okay. There's defense of others. There's defense of your country. It doesn't make any sense that violence is inherently immoral. There are immoral forms of violence for sure, but it is not inherently immoral. And a lot of people seem to think that way, at least in theory, though if you explore it a little bit in practice, it doesn't make any sense. But Josh, you have any other thoughts, or we'll just move into calls if you're ready?
I mean, not really.
All right. No more Kirpin Blade appreciating? It's your last chance.
Well, most of what was already said was said, so I have nothing to add. So.
All right. Well, let's get into some calls, see what people have to say. Before we do, hey, have you considered joining the MC Club? By the way, before I get into that, I also wanted to talk about Scott Pelley at CBS in 60 Minutes. We just don't have time. So unless we end up...
I completely forgot about that.
All right, there's like chaos going on at CBS, and it's kind of funny that
I want to talk about that one.
He raged his way out. If we end up super early, maybe we can return to it, but I don't, it's going to take me 10 minutes at least, and we're just out of time.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we return to it. But before we get into calls, have you considered joining the MC Club? Well, you should. Here's why. Hey, if you enjoy the show, please consider supporting the show by becoming a member of the MC Club. For as little as $1 a month, you will enjoy a series of exclusive perks, including ad-free videos and podcasts, video calls, and a community Discord server with me and other listeners, loot box giveaways with channel merchandise, your name in the credit roll after videos and streams, and much more. But most importantly, you will help keep the duct tape production alive and independent from all those sinister forces of control. Join the MC Club at mattchristiansenmedia.com/support. Linked in the description. Okay, first up is Burn Bridges Brightly. It looks like we just have 2 callers tonight, so if anybody wants to hop in the Discord server and participate in the show, you have an opportunity to do that. But let me get myself unmuted. Mr. Burn Bridges Brightly, are you there? Burn Bridges, you there? Hello?
I don't hear anything.
Duct tape all over the place. You hear me? It's a disgrace.
Oh,
there we go. Now you're lighting up. You got us?
Oh, is my microphone not working?
Oh, man.
Whoa, hold on. Shit, my stuff's messed up again.
All right.
Continue on without me.
Can you hear me, Burn Bridges?
Oh, okay.
Why am I getting a feedback, though? All right. Burn Bridges, go ahead, and I'll just see if I can manage the audio. You have some thoughts for us?
Now I cannot hear you.
All right. Then we're going to have to go into the tech problems room, and we're going to have to try Turles here. Turles, are you there?
Oh.
Turles? Sorry, we had some tech problems with our first caller.
Okay, can you hear me? Check 1, 2.
Turles?
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
sorry,
good.
I forgot
Go
to
ahead.
unmute.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
What do you got
bad,
for us?
My bad. Well, sorry, I wasn't expecting it to come on, so I'm over here scrambling to find which tab the stream is playing, so I can pause it and not get confused.
Oh my
This
gosh,
is
you've
such
been
a
caught with your
professional
pants
production.
down.
I'm so proud
Yeah,
of you.
sorry about that's on me. All right, well, guys, so how's your America 250 year so far?
I don't give a shit.
Great.
Gosh. It's a challenging year, I would say, but I'm optimistic.
Right as of right now, I just give zero fucks about it. Right? It's
What the?
Dude,
We got an
that's
email
actually-
question about America 250 later, and you better be patriotic, you son of a bitch. Appreciating
that's right.
foreign
Yeah.
blades
Man,
and not liking this country.
you are speaking with a black monarchist.
Listen, this
what
is
do you
my
want from me?
plantation, and you will get in line. All right.
That's right. Yeah, that's how
I'm
you
wearing
deal
Get
a
out there and pick
shirt.
the
All
cotton.
right, there you go.
That's how you deal
All
with these Joshy Boy types. You just got to show them who's boss.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll revolt.
Sorry. Carry on. You have America 250 thoughts?
Well, yeah, and it's really about that. Just that I share Matt Walsh's annoyance with the way things have gone, and it's not entirely Trump's fault. I think more could have been done though, and this is on everybody. I saw one tweet that was talking about how back in 1976, people at a sort of grassroots level, even though the economy was worse and people were definitely politically divided, but they were nonetheless that there were really impressive celebrations all over the country, so I'm glad at least that the administration has cleaned up DC. They have restored a whole bunch of fountains and monuments. They've cleaned up statues. They've gotten rid of over like 100 homeless encampments, which is crazy. I don't know. I don't even know how some place as small as Washington D.C. can fit over 100 homeless encampments, but there it is. So I'm glad that the administration is making an effort. They're trying to do this fair thing. They're trying to do some of these other celebrations, but listen, I am definitely a bleeds red, white, and blue kind of guy, and I'm just disappointed in all of us. I'm disappointed in the top level, but also even at the grassroots level that we've become so lazy that we're not doing anything here. Some people blame immigration, which is definitely a factor, but it's all of it, really.
We've got an email
there are some
question.
Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Joshy.
No, I'm more look. I know I say I don't really give a shit. I actually do. I know I'm not particularly pleased with Trump right now, but when people say that his presidency has failed, I do think that's a little too early of a call. I mean, we still have the rest of this year and 2 remaining years. Dude can really turn it around, and who knows? Maybe I will be. Probably not this year, but maybe I will be patriotic in a sense. But to Turles' point, we can't always just blame external factors such as immigration or foreign wars or this, that, and the other. I mean, we also have to kind of look internally. People are saying, well, I can't find a job and it's hard to find a job. So, okay, what kind of job are you looking for? Are you applying yourself more? Are you following up with your applications? What exactly are you doing to try to better your neighborhoods, or how are you getting involved with your communities, or just stuff like that?
Yeah, I really want to make sure that I do not allow my own skepticism or maybe even opposition to certain policies or certain recent events allow me to or force me to have a less than enthusiastic attitude this summer, because of course of all the challenges and things that are going on right now, and I am skeptical and critical of many of them, it doesn't change the eternal truths that the founding of our country recognizes. And those things must be celebrated really always. But if I can't enjoy them, the 250th anniversary of my country, am I ever going to? And I want to get back into this with the email question that's coming up in a little bit, because it is disappointing that we can't even have like a national party in DC at the National Mall without it being some sort of heavily politicized event or some, pitchfork mobs going after it. But the truth is, and like you're saying, Turles, no matter who plays at that event, whether the musicians are very popular or washed up or whoever they are, none of that actually matters as much as our own behavior and attitudes matter in our own neighborhood and at the barbecue and with our family and with our friends. You need a robust local enjoyment for patriotism actually to spread and to be authentic. It doesn't, like Brett Michaels or whoever is, it's not even, I'm not disrespecting him. Great career, dude. I'm not like throwing shade at you. It's just, we're not going to have a patriotic country because of that. And so I share your hope that we all kind of get it together and appreciate the right things this summer.
Because what some people don't seem to get is that we are more than just political pawns. We're more than just like, little pieces of somebody else's game. We are neighbors. We are Americans. We relate to one another. Most of us still speak the same language. We do have a shared history, and the everything that these guys do to try to make us forget that, should be resisted. That's killing everybody's spirit, and that's what I see. It's like, look, they're demoralizing you. Stop letting them demoralize you. Show some backbone. Party it up.
Well said, my friend.
And show the rest of the world that we are more than the people that we elect to go represent us in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. does not represent a very good picture of what the American spirit is and who America is as a people. America is we the people. And that's one of those things, like when you hear foreign nations talk about America, they talk about our elected leaders. First and foremost, they talk about our president. They talk about, the big names in Congress and that kind of thing. And that's not really who we are. We're not those people. Like those are not very good representatives of what it means to be an American. And I think this is a good opportunity to remind the world that America has a lot more to offer than these, staunchy, don't get anything done people that run our government.
I think
nothing to do with us other than the fact that we select them for some reason.
For some strange reason.
No, see,
allegedly.
In that case, we are kind of at fault for that. Like, since they talk about our leaders, and yeah, but we picked them. So can we really blame the rest of the world for kind of laughing at us? I guess I'm a bit more pessimistic.
They can laugh at us until they look at the states of their own countries too.
Right.
You can laugh at America. All right. We're not perfect. We got a lot of problems. But is there honestly any other country in which I'd rather live? Some people will tell you yes. And I'm not saying they're liars. All right. They might have their reasons. I just don't think that list is very long, if it exists at all. I'm not the most traveled guy. Full disclosure, I've been to Canada. That's the extent of my foreign travels, but I'm not volunteering to go move anywhere. Not just because this is my home and I feel like I have an obligation to stay here, but because I can survey the world from afar and there's no place that I'm dying to go live. There's no place that I look at and I think, obviously they're doing it way better. And my family and I would be much better off there. That's not a long list of countries, if any.
There's a great line. I forget who said it, but it was, America, all our greatest critics refuse to leave.
Yeah. I heard that the other day. Was that on the stream? I can't remember, but that was, that's exactly it. Anyway, thank you, Turles. Appreciate your call, as always.
Yep. Talk to you later.
I would give you a book thing, but we're kind of running long, so we'll get the book next time. All right, man?
For sure.
On the whole not travel thing, I mean, that's kind of what I want to do. That's why I reserve my judgment. I can look at some nations and be like, yeah, I don't want to visit there, but I kind of reserve my judgment until I've actually seen it for myself. It's kind of like how people say, oh, Italy is a great place. It's like, yeah, but you've been to the tourist attractions to Italy. Have you been to the rest of Italy? It's like how people say, oh, I love Chattanooga. It's just, yeah, but have you seen the rest of it? You go to downtown, you go to the mall, but you don't go to the neighborhoods that I grew up around that are just absolute shit.
I just want to go to the Lookouts game. All right. That's all I want to do.
Well, we have a new stadium apparently that I have not been to yet. And I don't know what, and somebody has already bought out the old stadium and they're probably going to turn it into more condos so that more Westerners can move here so we can continue to hate on Californians. Skulldugger, if you ever get over here, right, or if you ever move to the South, you're the only one I would tolerate.
It is amazing how there's like infinite Californians to move to every state. Every sensible state is like, Californians need to stop coming here. They go to Texas, they go to Tennessee, they go to Montana. Every state.
It has gotten to the point where if they're from California, they'll either be shy about it or not mention it at all because they know we don't like them.
Well, that's good. They should be compliant.
If I ever moved somewhere, I wouldn't let anybody know at all that I was from California.
Right.
I would lie
Yeah.
and say I'm from somewhere else.
And that's the crazy part, because we have some people from New York who moved down here, right? But there's not a whole lot of them, so we don't really care about them. We have people from North Carolina. We got people from Georgia. I mean, Chattanooga is basically on the line of Georgia. But we have people who can be from elsewhere, like Arizona. We don't care about those guys. But if you're from California, we look at you sideways.
Let's try Burn Bridges again once more. Burn Bridges, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
There we go. Sorry about the tech problems, but glad we've resolved them.
I can't hear. No, yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Sorry about that. It's been a long time since I ever hopped on a Discord call.
I obviously I know you're in the Discord server, and of course you're responsible for the AI hit Rice and Rage. So applause where due.
That's
But
right.
I guess I thought you'd called in more recently. You're telling me that this is a first time call for a while. Then.
First time call ever. It's just been.
Oh, you've never called in
Really?
before? Why do I have this false memory of you calling in before?
I'm the
I
same
left a
way.
voicemail last week.
Oh, maybe
Okay,
that's it.
That must
Maybe.
be it.
Okay.
That must be. I thought I could have sworn you called in before. All right.
Well, thank you for your contributions to the show, and thanks for calling in.
Yeah, sure thing. So what I wanted to talk about today was a bit about DEI. So recently,
All right.
Robbie
I'll
Starbuck
leave for this one.
So Robbie Starbuck recently tweeted at Harley Davidson's a bit of an ominous warning saying, "Hey, thought we taught you this lesson before, old man. What's going on?" And so I really want to point out here that when Harley Davidson was in the spotlight before for their DEI practices, and every conservative network, including Robbie Starbuck, said, "Hey, look, we got them to drop their DEI policies." They never did. If you looked at their public statement, it was clearly a PR statement talking out of both sides of their mouth, and there's no firm commitment in there that they were going to fully drop the DEI. And I think this is something that conservatives really need to focus on more. Practice your critical thinking skills and call it out more when you see it. What do you guys think?
So
Well,
I don't know the Harley case in particular, but I take it it's just standard, like we have preferential hiring practices, or what were their actual policies? Do you know?
I don't remember exactly. This was back in 2024, so
Okay.
It's been over a year.
You know, I wish I had more practical experience in this, because I have had the luxury of working for myself for the last decade. So the last time I had to put up with some boss's bullshit was a long time ago, other than like, YouTube's nonsense. But it's very easy to sit on the outside and say, yeah, if I saw this stuff going on in my workplace, I would tell them to stuff it, and I'd put a stop to it. And I hope that people do. I hope that people do have the courage to speak out about these things. I also know that when your livelihood is threatened, it's very difficult to do. And I haven't had to experience that. So it's really hard for me to give realistic, practical advice other than just like, hey man, be brave and do it, even though like I've not done that myself.
Yeah.
So do you guys have experience in the workplace with that sort of stuff? That's not something I've dealt with recently.
Personally, for me, not really, because they hired me simply because I was a good worker. That's kind of why I'm a little cautious when it comes to DEI, because most people, I wouldn't even say most people. You got some people who will look at, let's say that I'm on the job, right? In my field, I'm the only black person on that team, right? But somebody may look at that and says, oh, they have to have one token black guy to show how diverse they are, without actually knowing that, no, they hired me because I'm a good worker. So just because you see a colored face on there doesn't actually mean it's always DEI. But
that's the unfortunate part of it too. And this is one of the terrible effects of the policy, is when it is the policy, necessarily you have to look at every minority worker and think, did they earn that, or are they just there for the policy?
Yeah.
And so it sucks for someone like you who's working honestly and was not hired for those reasons, because people are going to have that suspicion. Yeah,
it's kind of like that. What was this? Connell McMitch's comment last time. How he can look at a group of black guys and be like, oh, they might be up to no good, but he kind of feels bad about that. But I was like, it's not your fault, because 9 times out of 10 they are up to no good, but that's the fault of the black community. So we're to blame for that.
You can tell by the orientation of the hood and how far the pants are sagging, and whether they're at Chipotle holding a high chair and about to throw it at you. That's how you can tell.
Yeah, and it's not even that. It's not even the fact that I'm outside looking in. I grew up around that shit. That's basically what we're raised into, right? The only reason why I'm not like that is because my dad would have pretty much killed me if I did something like that. Because well, first of all, I had my dad at home, so
Your dad was around to kill you. Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was around to kill me. So, but I mean, I would just say if you think somebody's a DEI hire, I would caution you on that. That's not always the case, even though it's easy to make that assumption.
I would never go, when I say be courageous, I would never say go to the person you think is there for DEI reasons. This is a thing.
Yeah.
You have to take this to HR, to management. This is not like go confront your coworker.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be brave about this stuff, you have to have the proper target, and it's not just like a guy sitting in a cubicle or something.
Mm-hmm.
Skulldugger?
I mean, I don't know how much I want to get into this, but I was actually the unfortunate victim of DEI policies.
Go on. Well, I don't want to prod, but that sounds very interesting.
I was laid off
Okay.
from my previous employment, and essentially with the salary that they were paying me here in California, they were able to hire 2 employees in Atlanta, and they were both Black women.
Mm-hmm.
So is that just cost cutting, or do you know that that's diversity and motivation?
It's likely both. Well, it wasn't
Okay.
cost cutting because they ended up actually paying more in headcount, but they got 2 headcount for
So
my
per
one.
worker, it'd be less.
So per worker, it would be less,
Yeah.
but total money out the door. So like the reason they gave me was that it was for financial reasons, but then they went and spent more in payroll in order to hire 2 Black women.
So what, so you've been kind of in that position. What was your response? Did you just say, all right, see you later? Or did you try to fight anything, or what'd you do?
You can't fight it. It's California. It's
I guess you'll end up in jail.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. It's
and you gotta go ahead.
I was just saying it's an at-will state. So you can leave at any time, and your employer can let you go at any time for any reason.
It's kind of it's a little bit the same here in Tennessee. They can fire you for any reason, but maybe I'm just in the minority when it comes to think of this. If somebody hired me simply because I'm Black, I would probably take that as an insult.
You should.
And but I don't understand why most don't. Because they hired me because I'm Black. It says, yeah, that means that you can absolutely suck at your job, but they only see you as a skin color, though. They don't even see you as a person.
So the entire reason why this company opened up the office in Atlanta was in order to get more Black employment. That was they specifically.
Well,
they specifically targeted a Black majority area, put an office there, and then just started hiring almost exclusively Black employees. The majority of the non-Black employees that worked at that office at the time that I left were people who were moved from other offices to that office. Nearly everybody that was hired into that office was Black.
To bring this back to you, Burn Bridges, one thing that I was thinking of while we were discussing this, because it is very difficult when you're in the workplace and your livelihood is on the line and you have to take that hit that Skulldugger is talking about. But one way that's maybe an easier entry point for the supposed, or for the bravery of pushback that we're talking about is in the consumer role. Like if you're a Harley Davidson consumer and you want to apply pressure to Harley Davidson, there are ways to do that that really don't put you in a position with as great of risk as if you were a worker for the company. You can make it known that as a consumer, you oppose this. People debate whether boycotts are effective or not. I don't know. But the point is, there are things you can do to put pressure on the company that don't necessarily involve risking your livelihood. That's one, I think, safer way to do that sort of thing too. But Burn Bridges, I'll give you the last word if you have ideas about how to handle this.
Yeah, absolutely. There are 2 things that you can do as a lone individual consumer, and you should never ever think that you're just one person. What difference could you make? That's what they want you to think. Number 1 thing you can do, be selective in where you shop. Number 2, buy stock, because when you own stock in a company, you have voting power. And that voting power can make a difference.
Okay. Well, there's some practical approaches there. And
I would say the whole shopping thing, it depends on location, because if that's the only store you got, then you're just shit out of luck.
Thanks for the call, Burn Bridges. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Yep. Have a good one.
Doodles.
Okay, we got one more caller who hopped in. Paper Trail is here. This might be a first-time caller. I don't know. Paper Trail, are you there?
Hey, Matt, how's it going? It's not a first-time caller, but it's been a long time.
Well, thank you for calling back. Appreciate it. What do you got for us?
Back.
Thank you, Joshy Boy. Thank you, Skulldugger. I haven't talked to you guys before, and I haven't come on since back in the days where it was just Matt and the prior host.
It's okay. You can say her name. I won't ban you. But thank you.
Appreciate it.
She who shall not be named.
Yeah, this is not Voldemort or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm out here in Northern Virginia in swampland, and
okay.
So I'm loading up on completed lowers and large capacity scary magazines.
That's right. I forgot all the gun control stuff they're doing out there.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Countdown to July 1st. I remember when they tried to do some of this stuff like 8 years ago. They didn't quite get it through. But now this time
that was when
around,
people were showing up armed at the state capitol, right? Wasn't that a whole thing?
Yeah, so we should do it again.
Yeah, it sounds like it's about time.
That was fairly recent.
They did it in Michigan too with Whitmer. Back before the Fed napping plot.
Oh yes. Oh man. Oh God. Who can forget the Fed napping plot? That was a great story. I mean, the writers of that year were just on it.
Yeah, they write better stories than to do movies these days.
2020 enraged me in many ways, but it was an entertaining year, that's for sure. There was no boredom in 2020. There was
it really wasn't.
There was just pure cold rage, like Nigel Farage says.
That's right.
There hasn't been any other set of years that has pissed me off more than 2020.
Yeah, it's got to be number one for me.
To no end.
Okay, so I don't want to get too far off topic, but what your strategy is what? Just build an arsenal, or what are you doing in response to the gun control stuff?
There's the bell.
It's obviously people. It's not a. The bell means you have 10 more minutes. That's all that means. But actually, I am kind of behind on time, so if you can be fairly brief, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, no, I got you, Matt. But yeah, so there's a bunch of kind of small town, small county sheriffs and prosecutors basically telling the governor to stuff it.
Good.
Great.
Right. Yeah. So there's a list of, last I checked, it was like 13 counties. There might be a few more on there now, but they're basically telling the governor, we're not going to bother even enforcing these laws.
Great.
And and now this time there's been an escalation. So the escalation is the governor saying now, well, I'm going to remove you from office.
Remove the sheriffs.
Right.
Okay.
Remove the sheriffs and remove the prosecutors. I can't remember if it was just both, or if it was both, or just the prosecutors.
There's no way. Does the governor have that power unilaterally, or what?
No. There's nothing in the Virginia Constitution, which I mean, we all know that they don't care about anyway, given the way they just try to rig the maps. But there's nothing in the Virginia Constitution giving the governor that power. That is solely with the people.
Okay.
I only wish I was in one of those counties. I'm up in Loudoun, right?
Oh yes.
Yes.
So as far as your and I'm not asking you to admit to anything or say anything that might get you in trouble, but sure. You are collecting completed lowers, and you're collecting firearms effectively that are in the future are going to be potentially banned. But is there a grandfather thing? Are you actually legally square on those, or if someone wants to arm up now, are they going to have a problem later?
No, you won't have a problem later unless they were to come back around next session and actually ban possession. They did not. Yeah,
so it's transfers and stuff they're clamping down on.
That's going to be the end goal.
Wow. If they come after possession, that's
a dangerous game.
That's a whole big different.
If that doesn't kick off the second Civil War, nothing will at this point.
Hey,
absolutely. And the thing is, that's what the state legislature in Rhode Island is actually doing this time around. I'm not sure what the status of that is.
They're going after possession.
Yeah, in Rhode Island. So I mean that is the playbook.
Man.
That is the playbook. I mean, they ban the sale, transfer, manufacturer, all that shit. So then we got to get California compliant crap, and then they're going to come back around and add possession to the law.
So then so that meaning that there's no grandfather rule. There's no grandfather law to it. It's even if it was before the law was passed, you're still not allowed to possess.
If they were to add possession to the law, yes.
Yeah.
As of right now, and even as of July 1st, anything you buy between now and July 1 in Virginia, you're going to be legally square on.
All right. Well, Godspeed in your collecting.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
your
you.
call.
So if you're in Virginia, magazines, completed lowers.
All right, man.
I have no clue what that means.
Thanks
but-
for you can have all the Kirpins you want. Don't worry about it.
July 1st is
Thanks, Baby John.
July 1st is an important date in California for gun laws as well, because that's when the Glock ban goes into place.
Oh yeah, I
Are you
forgot
for
they
real?
did that.
Yeah.
I'm sure Oakland will oblige. I'm sure.
They're dogs. Look, I know,
I'm sure the
this is
Glock will be surrendered from every sweatpants band in that town. Anyway, sorry, Josh. I didn't mean to jump on you.
Yeah, no. This is kind of unrelated. I'm just looking at your dog right now. He must be taking up so much space in your chair right now.
I would prefer he not rest there, but
that's where that's his bed. That's
All right. We got to catch up with a few chatters. We'll hop into emails and voicemails and all that.
Lightning round.
Yeah, I probably will have to move quickly. Appreciate our live callers. Thank you guys for calling in.
Yes, thank you.
Let's see what we got in terms of super chat here. Tortuga says, it's that time of year again when I purge my feed and shopping habits of anyone promoting any or one of the 7 deadly sins. Yeah, well, that's
good.
Just in my own experience, I think there's a little bit of a Pride Month resurgence this year. Really got scaled back, but based on what I've seen in social media activity as a guy who's not doing a lot of out in the wild shopping,
yeah,
I think there's a Pride Month resurgence this year, which I'm really surprised to see.
Burger King is definitely doing it because they have a 2 tops and 2 bottoms kind of buns for their burgers.
Are there, what? That's not a real thing.
No, that is a real thing.
No
I guarantee
way.
you.
They're not doing gay burgers. Are you serious?
They are.
The one that comes with the 2 bottoms is called the Power Bottom.
I'm about to ride the D.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, Matt, because I've seen a lot more. It seems like in years past, especially last year and maybe the year before that, they still changed the profile picture, but they just did it quietly without any announcement, without any fanfare. There's a bunch of fanfare this year. There's big announcements about, look at our new Pride logo and like all this stuff.
But that's because but here's the reason for that. There's a lot of potential for money, right? It's Pride Month. A lot of these people go out and buy their products and stuff. You're talking about the Burger Kings and the Chipotles and all this other stuff, the places that these people actually go to purchase stuff. So it's a money opportunity. They don't actually care about Pride Month.
The problem is you're starting to get like Pride fatigue, and not just from like the general public. You're starting to see Pride fatigue in the actual gay community. The actual queer community.
That's how bad it is. The gays are saying we've had enough of you faggots.
Well,
Josh
no,
is saying.
because like they're having so much stuff forced upon them by the radical left, especially as it pertains to like the tranny wars. Like now, in order to be part of the LGBTQ community, you have to accept all of this like crazy radical trans the kids stuff. Otherwise, you're a traitor. And so you're actually seeing a lot of actual like gay and lesbian, like queer identifying people going like, I don't want to be on that crazy train anymore.
I just wanted to put a dick in a butt and leave it at that.
Right.
Okay.
But all right.
I'm a simple man.
Listen, here's the easiest way. There's 2 simple steps that they can easily solve this. Become straight and go to church. I'll even accept it if it's a Protestant or Catholic church.
Bingo.
Well, I mean, really what you're starting to see is sort of like this like libertarian streak spread throughout members of the queer community where they're just like, I just want to be left alone.
Well, it is, and you know, speaking of the Pride Month resurgence, and I'll be quick here because I realize we've talked about this particular chat for a while now. Thank you, Tortuga. One of the resurgence areas I'm seeing is official Libertarian Party accounts. I mean, they are all rainbowed all over, and many of you would say, why is that surprising? I guess maybe it's not, but whenever we talk about what bugs me within the libertarian community, it's not that I want the force of law used against gay people, but again, it's like, this large segment of libertarians, in my opinion, that lack moral clarity. Like, no, we don't have to kick down every door and inspect the home for gay sex, but we don't also, you don't have to fly the rainbow affirmatively either. So why is so many libertarian parties in on the rainbow presentation, the rainbow performance? It's been driving me crazy.
Well, one of the things before she went stir crazy is that for Candace Owens, she was talking to some reporter and everything. It says, why do shops hang the gay flag? And she kind of made a joke. Says, are you telling me that up until now you didn't accept gays coming in your store?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a signifier.
Downtown Bozeman's a lot like that, where it's, full of left-wing shop owners, and they have the all are welcome here stuff. It's like, oh, congratulations, you comply with like federal non-discrimination law. Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm gonna walk in there with a Klansman suit one day.
Borrow it from those two kooky brothers we had on the show the other week.
I don't know.
Let's put the tolerance game to the test. How far are you willing to take this tolerance thing?
You said all, ma'am. I am a black Klansman, and I demand accommodation.
I hate the N-words, I'll tell you what.
All right. Injured Guardian. Thank you, Tortuga. Injured Guardian. Forget Steyer. Forget Og. Vote Remington. I do understand that one. Only because of Call of Duty, though. Yeah.
I got
no, I understand that just because I sort of know what those are.
I've never handled an Og Steyer, if that's, or is it a Steyer Og, right? I've never handled one of those.
Steyer Og, yes.
Well, they're very expensive, so.
Yeah, I've never, I mean, in Call of Duty many times, but I've never seen or handled one
I do
myself.
have a question. Does handling an auger machine, like the thing you drill a hole in, does that count?
Not for this,
No,
not
not
in
at
this
all.
case. No.
Not even close.
It has to be the rifle.
But he said an AUG, so that's an auger.
Tim says, I'm sick of this shit with how
different.
elections are being run. I suggest, among other things, an individual serial number that allows every ballot to be tracked during the entire process. It should also eliminate counting the same votes multiple times. Isn't that supposed to exist already, though, with the voter information?
Yeah, there's a barcode on an individual barcode on every ballot that you're supposed to be able to track it, but it doesn't necessarily work.
You know what would solve that?
Kirpins?
You know what not Kirpins, although that's
monarchy
in the plan.
Oh, monarchy.
Yes.
Of course.
You don't vote in a monarchy? Yeah, I get where you're going.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
No
Tim
ballots at
adds,
all.
Nigel
You don't have to
Farage.
worry about that shit.
Nigel Farage is using this situation to create grievance and division. Keir Starmer says, "You motherfucker, this was a crime where a Sikh stabbed a white kid and then called the kid a racist to prevent getting in trouble. In what way was that act not divisive?" It was pretty divisive to stab him and potentially call him a mean name on the 999 call. I agree.
Right. And to be fair, he has been convicted of murder. So
The only connection I can see as to why this happened is because, I don't know, maybe the British Empire over in India where the Sikhs were. So maybe there's some generational resentment against the British. That's the only thing I can say.
No.
Then don't move there.
Yeah, why would why would you go?
I mean, what? But
same reason they come here.
again,
I hate the Brits, so I want to move there and be surrounded by them.
That's exactly how it works.
But that's the thing, though. You hate the Brits, but you love their stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. I mean, a lot of people.
That's what we're seeing with the Somalis here in America.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
They hate us, but they love our stuff.
But they love what we have.
Sure love Mall of America, man. It's a little Mogadishu in there.
And taxpayer money.
That's true. They got a lot to spend.
Can't get enough of that.
Can't get enough of that.
Long Dong John, they're rioting? No, I don't think they are, mate. It's quoting. It's just a fiery but mostly peaceful protest, and I bet the shoe shops will have all their Jordans when it's over. That's true. I think Foot Locker will be just fine this time around. I don't know about
isn't it
like the sports pubs or something? They might be decimated.
Yeah. Isn't it a little sad that maybe not necessarily just here in the United States, but over in the UK, when they riot, nothing is stolen?
I didn't see any reports of theft this time. Yeah, just like low scale violence and destruction.
No, yeah, they don't loot. They destroy things. Like if you better hope that your car is not on the street that they're currently on, because it's not going to go well.
Even that rioting clip that you showed us seemed a little too polite. Like they were gently throwing garbage cans at them.
I mean, it's not the worst I've ever seen. I wouldn't call it polite, but I agree it's not like full scale Summer of Love.
Yeah,
either.
I mean, wait until the soccer hooligans join the.
Oh, dude, and it's football, not soccer.
Hey, the British were the ones that came up with the word soccer. It's their word. So if they didn't want us using it, they shouldn't have invented it in the first place.
Well, you can blame the Normans for that one.
Couple more here. Esoteric Unbound. No discussions of the Nowak murder have addressed the question important to America. These degenerate, limey fucks are supposedly our main allies in the world. We need to cut ties with the Commonwealth now. That's true. I suppose they are. Yeah. I mean, well,
I kind of missed the beginning of that.
I wouldn't be so keen on getting rid of them. They're one of our only allies that have aircraft carriers.
That's true.
Where is this? I'm cut out for me just a little bit.
Esoteric Unbound is saying that the UK is our major ally in the world. We need to cut them off based on their behavior. I guess I don't.
Agree. No, we don't need to cut them off. We just need to take them over.
A reverse. We're going to actually complete the revolution. We're going to revolution so hard that we run them now.
We'll just astroturf the people who are rioting right now, and then see where it all shakes out.
Thank you, Esoterica. Newbie of Death Review. Everyone cites Scandinavian countries' socialized governments for citizens' happiness, yet they ignore the cultural and racial homogeneity of the population. Well, they cite Scandinavia for it's like so many different things, and there's a lot of truth that those countries have unique characteristics, the racial makeup being one of them. And as far as their ability to provide all these great things, again, my understanding is, at least, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but my understanding is they have a lot of their defense needs taken care of by other people, us included. Yes. So when you don't have Chipotle Americans or Foot Locker Americans causing chaos, and you can use the entirety of your tax revenues for social programs because you don't really have to worry about your defense budget. Those are the perks that you might enjoy if you are in a Scandinavian country.
Well, and many of them also are exporters of energy, which is a huge boon to any economy in the current shakeup of global economics. If you are an exporter of energy, as in you have a surplus you have your own energy taken care of, so you don't have to buy it from somebody else, and you're able to sell it to other countries. That is a huge boon for an economy. So they don't have to. They have a lot of sort of external revenue that comes in, so they don't have to necessarily extract it from their own population. So you get to have some of these like sort of socially run programs when you have a bunch of money coming in from the outside. They're very unique in their setup because they have geothermal vents, they have very strong tides in the North Sea, so they're able to extract a bunch of this natural energy. Not every place is set up to have that. Not every place is going to have that setup, so you're not going to get this influx of external money coming into your country. So you can't just magically make this wealth appear, these values appear, and then disperse it out to your country. So they're very unique in a lot of the way that they're set up. So
quickly,
it's not just the homogeneity. They have other factors that make them unique.
It's also about like that Hungry video that I sent somewhere in the MC Club. Y'all should join, by the way. Yep. I have lots of fun there. I'll call you a faggot each morning, and you can
every single one. He never misses.
Cordially,
never miss.
It's very cordial.
I'm very thorough. But yeah, it's like the Hungary thing. It's like even the left-leaning Hungarians are like, well, we do kind of like our culture. We want to enrich our culture or enhance or something along those lines, but they kind of have to like be compatible with our culture. So even they are kind of like, yeah, we're Hungarian. We want to continue to be Hungarian.
All right, that'll do it on Super Chat. Appreciate our Super Chatters. We got to get into calls and emails, and the night is getting away from me, so I guess I'll have to move a little efficiently here. But before we get into it, I'll remind everyone, if you'd like to send a voicemail, text message, or email to the show, you can do that through the contact page on my website, mattchristiansenmedia.com/contact. First up in voicemails tonight is an unknown caller, but he wants to talk about the transgender beating hoax hate case that we discussed on Sunday.
Hello, Mr. Christiansen and whoever is riding shotgun this week, which, gosh, I hope it's Batman. I'd love his take on this. But the hoax hate this week of Dr. J. McCrate and her supposed hate crime, I understand that it's a terrible event for her, and I understand she is going through tremendous struggles, but the part that sticks in my craw and makes it very hard to have sympathy is when at the end of her message where she spins this fabricated story. She says, this is what you get when you let people vote for Trump. I have a very, very hard time having any sympathy or compassion for people who begin by impugning your moral virtue, not you specifically, but the speakers or who they're speaking to. I'd like your thoughts on that, and I just don't feel bad for this person. I think admitting that you are at fault and not being cruel to the people who may help you should be the minimum price for help or aid of any kind. Well, those are my thoughts. Thank you very much for the show, and have a good week.
Thanks for the call. Skulldugger, I know you saw the story of Dr. Gay, because I remember you super chatted about Dr. Gay.
I did.
I'll be
Joshy,
right
did you
back.
catch? Oh, Joshy's got to take off. All right. So if people missed really quickly, Dr. J, the science they, is this transgender woman to man who claimed that she experienced a Jussie Smollett style attack on the streets of Chicago. Someone recognized her and said, hey, I don't like you, very famous tranny, and kicked her ass. But the thing about the story is it's not just an ass kicking. The story was supposedly that this person took a blade and cut her in a way that would suggest it was an attempted suicide. But she was wrongly placed under suicide care at the hospital because they thought it was an attempted suicide, but actually this guy cut her wrists and then let her go. Clearly it was an attempted suicide. And when I was talking about this on Sunday, what I mean when I talk about this terrible situation is that, this is a mentally unwell person who's trying to kill herself. And we have to be honest about that. But I take your point, the caller's point, on how much sympathy is due here. I guess my point wasn't to express sympathy or even forgiveness necessarily. There were crimes committed here. There's a false report to the police. There is a fraud committed on the public. This is pretty obviously a fraud to the tune of $55,000 on GoFundMe right now. Those things have to be brought to justice. What I was talking about is that this person also clearly needs help, and there's no help from the hospital. The medical professionals who know that she tried to kill herself are allowing this to continue. The police who took that police report and I assume are investigating it are going to go to the hospital to gather evidence, and they're going to realize it was an attempted suicide. For a person who is unwell, there's nothing compassionate or helpful or anything showing sympathy about the way this is happening. But I do take your point, caller, that this person is committing crimes, number one, and also in that video of explanation and in the GoFundMe that is fraudulently raising money, is saying without any evidence presented that Republicans, Donald Trump voters, conservatives are directly responsible for what happened to her. And of course, what she says happened to her did not happen to her. So there's a malice toward innocent people that itself has to be reconciled as well. So I certainly take your points. I would not dispute any one of them. But did you guys have any thoughts on Dr. J or Dr. Gay?
Yeah, I mean, we do know that Chicago is MAGA country.
Oh, well, that's a fair point.
So,
yeah.
Now, I guess I am going to be a little more sympathetic to this person, which is a lot coming from me.
I was about to say I want to see where this goes. That's very surprising.
Yeah, that is very surprising. It's probably because I'm in catechesis right now and I'm learning to you can dislike what these people are doing. You can even hate what they're doing, right? But at the end of the day, I guess the inner Christian in me, I do feel bad for these people to a degree. Now, the fact that she blames Republicans in this case, and that this is what happens when you vote Republican, it's it's more just her escaping accountability. She's regretting her decision. It's basically that's why they attempted suicide. She realized she's fucked, basically.
She is a woman, and they are allergic to accountability. So
yes,
Who posted the meme in the Discord that showed a superhero woman being shown her kryptonite, the stone of accountability?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw it. And plus I saw the follow-up meme. It says, I think of a man and I remove reason and accountability.
Yeah.
But to kind of, on the one hand, you're committing crimes, you're lying, you're creating fraudulent acts, you should be punished for that. But at the same time, you also regretting your life's biggest mistake, like you lopped off your breast. You're trying to be something you're not.
The whole Instagram is just photos of the mutilation. Yeah, it's awful.
it's her trying to justify her decision, and she's realizing that's a losing battle. That's kind of why I feel bad, right?
But she's demonizing the people who would be there to help her.
I know.
So to the caller's point is like, part of the story is that she got personally offended, and that's part of the reason why there's the GoFundMe is because like she felt like she wasn't going to be able to get the appropriate care because they were accusing her of trying to commit suicide, which is obviously what happened. So she's getting mad at the people who were trying to help her because she tried to commit suicide, and that is like one of the reasons why she's going on this blame everybody tour. So the people who are there to help her, she is accusing of doing something against her. So it disqualifies you from sympathy if you are going to react violently against, or guys, not violently, but if you're going to react this strongly against the people who are trying to help you.
Yeah, I just look at it as a final lashing out. I get where you're coming from. That's why, on the one hand, you have to be stern about it. It says, "This is what what you're doing. You brought this upon yourself." And at the same time, I was like, I can't help it. I feel bad for this lady. I guess it's only because she's a woman. If it was a dude, I'll probably give less of a shit.
So it's no different than like if you had like a drug addict who was being forced to look at their addiction and how it is destroying them, and they're essentially at rock bottom, but they refuse to acknowledge it and they refuse to accept help. At that point, what is the point of having sympathy for this person any further? At that point, sympathy is actually destructive to this individual because they're never going to get the help because you're allowing them to exist within their delusion.
Yeah, it's a fair point that whatever sympathy I may have in terms of wanting this unwell person to get well, it requires justice. Like absent justice, it is incomplete.
Yeah, I think that's where you guys kind of misunderstand me. I guess I haven't just communicated it well. I'm not saying that at some point you have to cease sympathy, right? Because at some point that basically what that person is doing, that's hell. That's what hell is. You acknowledge that you're at rock bottom, but you just keep going and going and going, and it's infinite, right? In some cases, when it comes to justice, you can either force that person to get well because they won't do it themselves, or I don't know, I hate letting somebody destroy themselves, but if they refuse to be helped, that's just what's going to have to happen. You're just going to have to let them destroy themselves.
But it's worse than that in this situation. She's not just refusing help. She's accusing the people who are trying to help her of doing something against her and then scamming the public for money because of that. Like it's any available sympathy for this person goes out the window because at this point, sympathy for her is actually destructive to her well-being.
No, I think she should be fully punished for what she's doing.
She should be institutionalized or imprisoned.
Yeah, by force. That's what I'm saying. She needs to be done this by force at this point.
Yeah, she's not the victim here.
No, I know.
Everybody else is
a victim of a delusional worldview, but nobody has directly attacked her.
Yeah, right. I'm not saying that she's still a victim. She's clearly a perpetrator at this point. Correct. I'm just saying that I'm just expressing why I'm half sympathetic to this person.
I can be a sympathetic once there's an accounting for her violations. Like once she has been held accountable in some sort of way, then I can maybe start to have some sympathy for her. But as long as she's on the loose, continuing to chalk up more victims, I don't have any sympathy for somebody who's continuing to victimize other people.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I will bring down the hammer if I was in charge. It's like, you did this, so you're going to get punished for it. I'm just saying from a spiritual standpoint, that's where it goes.
All right, everybody shut the hell up. We have to move on. Thank you for the voicemail. Much appreciated. Also have, let's see, the second voicemail, XFD wants to talk about something that's completely new to me. The theft of the world's largest Lego Star Wars collection.
This is
all right, hold on.
I heard a news story about this guy named Reckless Ben who's investigating the theft of the world's largest Lego Star Wars collection in the world. You might end up covering on the show tonight or on Sunday. It's just the kind of thing that's pretty wild. Highly recommend looking into it. If you have heard about it, what do you think about what's going on? Have a great show. Take care.
Thanks for the call. I'm going to punt because I know nothing about this, but it seems like you guys have strong opinions.
This story is insane.
Okay,
This story
can you
is like
summarize it
something out of
briefly?
a movie that I don't know that I would believe. If this story showed up in the plot of a movie, I would have been like, it's a little outlandish. I don't think anything like that would actually happen.
All right, go ahead.
So Reckless Ben is actually, so he's like a collector, and so he's essentially trying to purchase these like rare Lego sets, and he's essentially being defrauded. Not essentially, he is being defrauded, but the person who's defrauding him has like such good connections with law enforcement that they were able to flip it around as soon as Ben was like pointing out like, hey, I'm being defrauded here. They were able to flip it around on Ben to make it look like Ben was the one that was stealing.
Okay.
And Ben is now so fearful, he's fled to Mexico.
What the?
Damn.
So he was trying to sell this collection, and what, these guys like scammed him out of the collection, or what? What is the fraud?
Yes. Yeah. So the details are crazy because there's a chance that what Reckless Ben has said is not entirely true. So that's like one of the other things is it's hard to parse through like who's exactly telling the truth here. That's what I'm saying. This story is insane. But like
he targeted business owners. So you're saying that they jacked his Star Wars Lego collection, but the reporting is saying police say he targeted the business owners.
Yes. So
okay.
So this is actually the propaganda against Reckless Ben.
At least according to police. Salt Lake Tribune quoting police. Yeah.
Yes, because the one who's actually the perpetrator is the one who is defrauding Ben. But he has connections to like lawyers, judges, and law enforcement, and so there's a lot of he said she said stuff going on here, and it doesn't. I don't know if either side is actually telling the complete and total story, but like either way, there's like something really weird going on here, and the fact that this guy is like basically like let it loose and just ran to Mexico is really
that's wild, man.
I'm confused.
It's really
I'm
crazy.
gonna have to read about this on my own time, but all right, sounds crazy. Thank you, XFD. Appreciate you making that known to me.
This story is nuts, and there will be a bunch of developments as it comes out, and it's very divisive. Like there's people who are just basically picking sides. There's two camps to this story, and so like there's probably a bunch of people in the comments right now telling me that I'm crazy and I'm wrong and that Ben is the bad guy. But like
I have no idea.
Ben
yeah,
has
it's all
receipts,
new to me.
so
okay.
Well, if it turns out that this guy is being, if he's defrauding the Ben guy, I guess I would have less sympathy for him and just have him executed or something in Minecraft.
I think Ben may have done something not entirely above board that he's not being honest about, but it looks like the other side is not being entirely honest either. And it's just turned into the escalation and the just total shitstorm that this has turned into is,
so they both get
insane.
casket.
And the fact that it's all over Star Wars Legos is like this is insane. Like that.
All right.
Wait, but now I'm just
the escalation over like a children's toy is.
I mean, if it's like vintage
wild.
Star Wars collection, I can understand why people go to such great lengths to do all that stuff.
All right. Moving on from the Lego Star Wars. Thank you for your thoughts. And thanks to XFD for the call on that. One more call came in from Concerned Non-Citizen during the stream. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey, Matt. Concerned Non-Citizen again.
Actually, hold on. I was a little soft, so I'm going to have to bump that. One moment. Let's try this.
The 2-minute time frame kind of got to me last week, and I started rambling out the gate. What I wanted to say about Schrodinger's healthcare system is if two Canadians are talking, then they know the problems with it. But if it's a Canadian and an American, then suddenly the Canadian healthcare system is amazing. Sorry, out walking the dog.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for the dog walking call. Much appreciated. Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what we were talking about last week, but it was something about how like Canadian mockery of the U.S. healthcare system, because Concerned Non-Citizen is a Canadian who lives in the U.S. and he was saying how great the U.S. system actually is comparatively, even with some faults that it has.
There was one guy who was waiting 28 days just to get help.
He said a guy waited on a stretcher at the hospital for he lived on a stretcher at the hospital for a
nearly a month.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for adding some thoughts to that, and thanks for taking time out of your dog walk.
The risk of putting yourself into the Canadian healthcare system is you might get mated in the end. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, the headlines always say that died of maid too. It's I know that's technically correct, but it implies that maid is like a thing that comes and gets you, which it kind of does. That's the problem with these doctors. They do kind of come and get you.
Yeah, they have a hot maid with a needle ready to end your life.
Well, died of maid is a very softer way of putting murdered by the healthcare industry.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So I guess it does kind of get you in that way. All right. We have some email questions as well, and actually a text from Denise. So let's see. It's past 2 hours in. I'm going to try to stick to a stricter format here, guys, so we get through these. So everybody gets to offer their thoughts in one. Yeah, we're going to lightning round this, and I'm sticking to it. I know I say that all the time, and then I don't do it. I'm sticking to it this time. So Denise says, do you feel that all the Trump congressional wins are his way of removing part of the deep state? So first, I would caution in characterizing all of these as congressional wins. They probably will be. What we're talking about is primary wins right now, like Cassidy and Cornyn and Massey losing to Galrine, Skulldugger's favorite member of Congress soon, Ed Galrine.
Yeah.
Now, those challenging candidates still have to win and get into Congress in the general. Yes. Most likely they will, but that's not yet certain. But I would not consider that to be deep state cleanup generally, because when I think of the deep state, I think of that pretty much exclusively as being executive branch employees, people in that gigantic executive bureaucracy, and not necessarily people in Congress. The reason members of Congress, at least in principle, are electorally accountable. When we're talking about the deep state, it's all the people who are kind of permanently in DC and are not electorally accountable. All the staff at all these departments who are there throughout the entirety of every administration. And for Trump to be cleaning out the deep state, to me, it doesn't make not that Trump complains about the deep state a lot these days. At least I don't hear him doing that necessarily. Maybe he does. But when you are in charge of the executive branch, you effectively can fire whoever you want, whenever you want. I know that the unions and some of the labor agreements in terms of the lower level employees complicate that. But in terms of who's running these departments and the deep state, as we think about them, he has a lot of power and authority over that. I'm not saying that getting certain forces out of Congress isn't helpful or beneficial for the same reasons, but I would consider Congress to be separate from the deep state. You guys agree or disagree?
Well, I completely agree, and I'll make my commentary on this quick, is until you clean up the intelligence apparatus, you have not touched the deep state at all.
Fair enough. Joshy?
As a monarchist, this is all bullshit.
Trump needs more power. We need actual King Donald John Trump.
I would actually respect him more if he did. But
monarchy, the deepest state possible.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think he's removing the deep state. I think he's actually... He ain't doing shit. So
Joshy Boy wants deeper state now.
Thank you, Denise. Hobble, good evening, Matt, longtime lurker from North Carolina here. I was curious what your thoughts are on AI from a moral perspective, especially with the Pope's most recent essay. How do I say this word? Encyclical? Is that what that is? Encyclical on this topic. I'm especially concerned with children's interaction with it and how the minds of the next generation will be warped by the people-pleasing attitude I've seen in the most popular chatbot, GPT. I think life without pushback will train them to be weak and underprepared for scholastic and emotional hardship. What are your thoughts on both the youth use of AI and the religious perspective? So I haven't read the Pope's essay. When I saw this question before live, I did do a little bit of searching for it, and I see that the Pope was writing about AI serving humanity and not concentrating power, and I assume perhaps not replacing humanity either, or substituting for humanity, at least in certain roles. And when I think about AI or really any technology and how it interacts with morality, that is the general rule. Does this technology serve human life's inherent value? If so, that's great. Let's put it to use toward that purpose. If instead the technology is used for or becomes human replacement, or positioning ourselves as God, there are moral problems there. So I don't look at it, even though I am a little more skeptical of the robot future and Skulldugger works for Skynet. I don't look at AI as inherently bad or necessarily more different than other technologies that came before, like the computers and the internet and all this stuff that has enabled widespread communication that we're using right now. But the point on any tool, AI included, it has moral and immoral applications, and it requires our moral assessment. Take the simple tool of a hammer. I can build a house, and that's great. That serves human purposes. Or I can smash your skull with it, and that does not. It doesn't mean that we remove the hammer as a tool because there are immoral applications. I do have worries about the immoral applications of AI, and certainly I would not want my sons socializing with chatbots more than friends of theirs or their family. But I also know that even in certain educational contexts for kids, there probably are applications that can help teach certain concepts. Or, I watch my son play educational games quite frequently. We were not a no technology household, but we try to use it for good reason. My son has learned a lot of good stuff through the use of technology. I mean, like, he's picked up reading very quickly. He's picked up mathematical concepts. I'm not saying it's impossible that he could learn these things. He couldn't learn these things without the technology. It's just that, like any tool, from the hammer all the way up to Skynet, it can serve humanity or it cannot. And we need to make sure it's properly focused to serve humanity and the inherent value of human life.
Correct. Yeah, so there's that, there's that last bit. This is, I think, life without a little pushback for scholastic and emotional hardship. We already have that, and that came way before AI was even
That's true. I
introduced.
think a lot of it did, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that is already happening. So the AI may or may not even contribute to that. But to y'all's point, I don't really look at AI in a religious form, right? Because, like the guy said, it's a tool. Some people, it can be used for helping humanity. It can harm humanity. It just depends on who's wielding it. I know I rail against AI art and sometimes AI music, but that's that's based on personal taste. There's no moral implication about that. I just don't like it.
There could be, maybe, but
there
I'm already
could
breaking
be.
the lightning round
Well,
rules. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's true. There has been some worry about people using AI art to try to sell at conventions and everything, or stealing other artists' work to make it seem like it's theirs. So there is a moral implication for that. But again, it's a person is using a tool for immorality. The tool itself is not immoral.
Yeah, the issue that I have with this is these are the exact same conversations we had about the internet in general 30 years ago. It's literally the exact same conversation. It's just now that we've used the internet to expand into this very specific realm. It's the exact same argument.
The same thing was even argued for photography. They thought it was going to ruin painting and whatnot.
So I think my worry about I don't think that AI is just going to cause a complete and total moral collapse. Because all of a sudden people are not engaging with humans. Like, once again, these were the exact same concerns that we had over the internet in the 90s.
I think the only concern for AI, and it may be overblown, is just that what happens if the AI itself replaces us as moral judgment maker?
Well, we would have to choose that. So
I guess, yeah.
We'll have to choose.
But what if it happens? What if the robots?
If we choose that, then that's just the choice that we made. So.
All right. Thank you, Hobble. Appreciate it. Ferrum, hypothetical. This one's an interesting one, too. Imagine the technology now exists to instantly detect and fix all genetic problems with a human embryo, causing a child that would be born with a condition like Down syndrome to now be totally normal. Would the use of this technology be morally acceptable, or would you consider it to be tampering with God's plan? If the latter, is this different from similar technology designed to help people who are deaf or blind? Thanks, and as always, eyes up, Ferrum. Okay, this is very interesting. It relates to our discussion on genetic testing in pregnancy last week. And the problem with genetic testing isn't the testing itself, it's when it is used as justification for abortion, for the taking of an innocent life. Now, in this case, the reason it's interesting is because we've removed that taking of the life from the consideration. There is no taking of a life here. We are maintaining that life while healing the life or removing a disability, perhaps. So it doesn't have the same moral problem of taking a life like the genetic testing informed abortion does. But the question then becomes, is it wrong or immoral to heal or remove a disability? And I'm conflicted on this because gut level, it feels like playing God to me. But when I thought about it, I can't really explain how that's different from healing or fixing another medical problem. So if such technology existed, I give it a tentative green light with a right to think about it more. Do you guys think that this is thumbs up or thumbs down?
I took a picture of this because I'm going to have to think on that.
Yeah, this one's not exactly super straightforward, but I mean, I guess from the standpoint of, it's sort of like a technological Darwinism.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm leaning on.
I can't tell you why it's any different to say treating a condition that we have the power to treat.
Right.
Like if we have the power to cure a disease, we do that all the time.
Yeah.
Why is this different?
It's just sort of it's starting to get into transhumanism, and that's
maybe why. Altering genetics is the difference.
This is like the gateway into transhumanism, because at this point you are starting to get to the point where you're making arguments that Down syndrome or whatever it is you're curing in utero is less than human. You're making them more human by curing them in utero, and I think that's still eugenics in nature, and I think it's a dangerous thing to be playing around with. I'm trying not to punt. I'm trying to actually answer this question.
No, I'm glad you are, because like I said, at gut level, it felt wrong to me, but I couldn't explain in my head, why is this any different from any other we treat conditions with the goal of removing or eliminating them all the time. Why is this different? Maybe that's it. Maybe it's, in other cases, we don't use actual genetic alterations to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this gets back to it was Batman that brought up Gattaca. It's a great movie, and it addresses this exact kind of stuff. Is what does it actually mean to be human, and what is is human a physical condition, or is it a combination of the spiritual existing within the physical confines? And that I think is sort of interfering with me being able to rationalize this question fully in a short amount of time.
Well, you changed my mind. Yeah. Now it's a tentative thumbs down with a right to change my mind later.
All right.
Joshy, you have another thought?
No, like I said before, I'm going to have to think on that one. It does feel wrong, though. I don't know why, but it does feel wrong.
Speaking of wrong, Niger McFartits.
That's a very nasty word.
Hey, could you reach out to Jeremy from the Quartering? I think he's been unfairly treated, Andy Worski, and that fat fuck. I don't know if this fuck is fat or not, for the record. The fat fuck from Kino Casino are lefty retards who were saying vile shit about Jeremy's wife. If it was my wife, I would have went to war as well. Where do you draw the line on reporting other content creators? Would you do it if it was your wife? Would you protect your wife if she flagged? Just wondering your opinion. Thanks, Matt. So in general, I don't follow or engage in YouTuber fights or conflicts that don't involve me. It's nothing... First of all, I'm not like throwing shade at people who do. I understand there are important free speech principles in this case. I'm not saying you're bad if you care about that sort of thing. It's just not really my area. And it's nothing personal for the Quartering either. I just don't get involved in that sort of stuff as a rule. But as far as the hypothetical, it's hard for me to speculate what I would or would not do without an understanding of the facts of this case, and I don't have a great understanding of them. If the question is how I would draw the rules about my own willingness to take action against others in the YouTube space or online, my rules would be effectively the law, okay? I'm a public figure. I have volunteered to be a public figure, so has the Quartering. And that means that any and all criticism of me is just fine. Up to the point of lies made with actual malice. So if you're out there lying about me, knowing that it's false with a damaging effect against me, okay, I might intervene at that point. But if you just want to make videos saying I'm a giant douchebag and a huge idiot, actually, there are people who have made such videos, and I'm not going to take any action against them, no matter how annoying or wrong I think the video is, because that's the price you pay. That's what happens when you are a public figure, and that is what defending the principle of free speech means. And I would expect my wife to abide by the same rules. Now, my wife would not do any of those things, go and try to ban people or flag them or anything. I don't know if Jeremy's wife did or not. But because we are all part of the same family unit, the respect I have for other people's right to criticize me means that they can have opinions, dumb opinions about our family too. Now, if they're making intentional lies they know to be false with damaging effect, I might intervene there. But if you're making videos about how my wife's a stupid bitch or something, okay, I mean, I might think you're an idiot, but I'm not going to try to take you down. And that is the nature of being a public person on the internet. And if you're not comfortable with that standard of people saying mean things about you, and I say that with full acknowledgement that I don't know all the things that were said about Jeremy or his wife or any of that, but if you want to be on the internet, you're going to have to be comfortable with people saying mean, wrong, stupid things about you. That's just the way it is. So I would almost never flag anybody. The only thing I think I have flagged people for is straight up ripping my content. I mean, like, not making response videos where you take on the points I'm making. I mean, downloading my video and uploading it as though it was yours without any alterations at all. I have done that.
Those are reaction channels. And
well, no, I mean straight stealing, not even like just straight stealing the content.
When I say reaction channels, I mean that in an elusive sense. Like people who actually just put their face at the bottom right and put the whole video up with them saying absolutely nothing or giving
I haven't had that, but
or like just like laughing at the end and be like, that was great.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, there are some gray area cases like that. But in general, the amount of videos that involve me that I've flagged in my entirety online, I would guess is under 5. It's just not something I do.
Yeah, I would stay away from Jeremy at this point. I don't know, but I wouldn't invite him onto my platform
Thanks for the advice.
At the current time. YouTube,
I haven't followed it. I know that it's
the YouTube community has already judged him. He got channels taken down that are still not been restored. So he has absolutely interrupted the progression and livelihood of other channels with his flagging. So the internet has already judged him. I would just let this one go.
I don't follow the quartering, and I don't really care for much of YouTube drama, so I'll just steer clear.
All right. Thank you, Niger. Appreciate it. This is an interesting question, too, that I think both of you will be interested in. AI Slopstar. Actually, this question has nothing to do with AI. Do you believe that some humans are irredeemable? And follow-up, do you think that supporting the death penalty necessarily means believing that at least some humans are irredeemable? So, Skulldugger, your answer was yes immediately, which I find very interesting. But I think there are different ways to interpret this question, because irredeemable to whom? And my immediate response, of course, is to go to what it means to be a member of the Christian faith, and that is to believe that all sins, everybody, is redeemable through salvation in Christ. There is no sin that is too great for forgiveness if you accept Christ as your Savior and you accept that sacrifice for your sins. And I don't think that supporting the death penalty means believing that some humans are irredeemable. It means understanding that there are some crimes for which death is a just penalty on this earth. But I speculate. I wonder if maybe this is your point, Skulldugger. I would file this question as one that's a little bit above our pay grade. The question assumes that we as humans decide who is redeemable. We don't. We all hold value to God. We can all be redeemed by God, through God, provided that we try to. But Skulldugger, you tell me why your reaction was affirmative. I assume maybe it's because redeemable to people, or
yes.
Okay.
So I don't get to make any decisions as to your spiritual redemption. That is completely, as you said, above my pay grade. However, I do get to make decisions as a member of society over your social redemption qualifications. If you prove yourself to be unable or unwilling to follow the rules of society and that you are just going to be a disturbance to society, then there is no point in allowing you to continue terrorizing society. Like if that's the way that if you're going to make that a decision for yourself, then you are unredeemable socially, and you should be removed from society. Whatever that means.
Well, my thing is kind of like what Matt was saying. What do you mean by irredeemable? I mean, let's say that I have a belief that doesn't necessarily bring any harm, but you find that irredeemable, thus remove me from your society, right? I don't believe that any human, at least in a spiritual sense, is irredeemable, right? I do believe in earthly consequences. So, like, for example, let's say that somebody murdered my mother or something like that. We're called to forgive, and it may take me a while to forgive you, but it doesn't remove the earthly consequence, right? You still have to suffer that.
Yeah.
If
Right,
you're
but-
a serious,
but you can't redeem them yourself.
Lightning round, bitch.
You can't. You can't redeem them.
All right.
I didn't say I can redeem them, Matt. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that we are called to forgive at some point. I'm not saying that can escape earthly consequences. I'm not gonna you're only irredeemable if you're dead and you did not accept Christ. We're just putting it plainly, but
that's not even your decision to make. Once again, the spiritual redemption qualification is not a human.
Yeah, but the question was asked: what do we consider? Do we believe that some humans are irredeemable? The question was directed at us, and I only consider that if you're dead and you did not accept Christ into your heart.
Yes,
so that's.
But I can create a definition of an irredeemable human, in that you are irredeemably socially incompatible. Like,
yeah, Joshy, what about someone who films vertically pointed at the ground?
Yes.
Oh, fuck them.
And that same person just came from the supermarket and they didn't return their cart they just left it in the next
And they're
stall.
cycling home. Okay.
Get them
Jesus
out.
Christ.
Irredeemable.
Get them out. Irredeemable.
No,
All right.
just go ahead and burn them at a cross.
Here's another one with some theological implications. Odie, this is what I mentioned earlier. I want to talk about Freedom 250 and the country's 250th anniversary. Said it references Luke 19:39 through 40, and says, well, I actually have the verse here. Some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, rebuke your disciples." "I tell you," he replied, "if they keep quiet, the stones will cry out." And Odie says, when I hear about the Freedom 250 performer cancellations, I was concerned for the celebration, but I took heart when I recalled these verses. Funny how the Pharisees, so concerned with policing people's thoughts, words, and deeds, seem to have a modern day equivalent. It's now up to the Stones, the patriotic foundation of America, to cry out in celebration. The revival of patriotism has to come from inside the tent, and it is time for the right to organize in community like the left does. Just a thought. As always, thanks for the show. Thank you, Odie. And this is exactly what I wanted to, this is what I was referencing with Turles's call. I realized that in my own disappointment of what's going on in DC, it's just a reflection of that same feeling where we think like DC politicians are going to fix our problems. Oh, the DC 4th of July 250th anniversary party sucks. Oh man, I guess that's a bummer. No, it was always going to suck. It was in DC. Okay. Correct. The real party that is the 4th of July, the 250th anniversary, is you and your friends and your family in your own backyard this summer. And it's the obligation on each and every one of us to be that guy in the American flag tank top with the beer helmet, the beer can helmet, and blowing off fireworks even though your HOA says no, and telling them to stuff it when they call the police or whatever. You have to be that guy and encourage your neighbors to be that guy, and not just for the sake of the party. It makes it sound like I'm trying to be the guy who's all about bringing the fun. I mean, I am, but it's for what purpose? It is, again, in recognition that the foundations, the founding principles of this country are eternally true. And even if we have a little bit of disappointment about what's going on currently, I certainly do. A lot of questions about the direction of the country, at least short term, potentially long term. It doesn't mean that any of those founding principles are incorrect, that actually we are all made in God's image, that we all have value according to God, and that government exists to recognize the rights that are inherent to that human condition. If we dissolved the country tomorrow, started over because this one was a failure, you'd still start with those same founding principles. And you might have a little bit different implementation or tweak a few things, but you would still start with those same founding principles for the purpose of government and where a valid government comes from and the moral principles it's supposed to abide by. And any country that doesn't recognize those is going to suck comparatively. If you want to build a great country, you're going to start on those principles that the Declaration did. And that's why you have to be the biggest jackass at your neighborhood party and insist on jackassery from others too. And I appreciate that, Odie. Your thoughts?
Well done. I agree.
Okay. All right. Fair
well,
enough.
I live a bunch of Mexicans who love to shoot fireworks at every opportunity they get. So
yeah. All right.
the
Lastly,
jackassery part is covered.
Vig Vagina.
That's disgusting.
Matt, I think every rational person would agree that illegal immigration should be zero, but there are many disagreements for legal immigration. If you were Speaker of the House and you could draft legislation to solve the border crisis, what would yours look like? Would you set a quota? Or a number quota a year? Maybe instead use a percentage to make sure that whatever the absolute number is does not overwhelm the existing population. Does country of origin matter? Would you accept any number if they meet certain skill or wealth requirements? What if a current citizen would vouch for the immigration? Would there be a probationary period and a small corollary? Excuse me. Would you support taxes at a level to sufficiently fund the government agencies in order to process whatever rate you ultimately choose? Vig. Okay, so I assume this plan is strictly for the legal immigration only. Like this plan theoretically assumes a secure border where there is no illegal immigration.
Yeah,
okay.
Correct.
No border hopping. We've done away with that problem. Now, for me, if I was designing it for now, not necessarily ideally in principle, but for now, given the state of the country, my starting point would actually be moratorium, because there are so many people here who are not integrated. We actually have many. Even if we had no illegal immigration across the border, we have many people who have to be removed. So I think there's a lot of messes that need to be cleaned up before we can think about who's coming here. But again, we got all that. Let's say we got that taken care of. Nobody's crossing the border. Our country is much more assimilated. You don't have like New York City effectively being a foreign city with God knows what percent of people there are foreign born, all of that. Okay. At this stage in the country, we don't need necessarily a single immigrant. Those days are long gone, but that's not to say that nobody from a foreign country can benefit the country, provide opportunity for the country. So prospective immigrants for me would have to be extremely high value. And that means a few things for me. Number one, you've got some sort of existing business or opportunity that you want to build or expand in the U.S., some sort of existing wealth. Mandatory, no more takers. All right. And number two, and these aren't necessarily you have to have all of these, but you got to have at least one of these. You got to have a demonstrated exceptional skill set. That's something that we as Americans don't have a lot of. We have too little of. Could be, say you've got a brand new, a rapidly expanding business that just doesn't really exist in our country and has very high upside, and you want to bring it here. Could be something ultra specialized. You have a medical skill that's in development that we don't necessarily have here. And then this is the biggest problem, though, with it is number three, you got to have committed loyalty to this country. And that's the most difficult thing to ensure. Like, I can look at your business. I can look at your bank accounts. I can determine those things objectively. How do I know objectively that you actually believe in the founding philosophy of this country and that you're loyal to it? This concept that we're just talking about of God-given rights. And you're not just a bunch of opportunistic commies who are coming to take advantage of our country. I guess I know based on the fact that you have some money, maybe you're not communist. Although I guess there are a lot of rich communists too.
Yeah, there are a lot of rich communists, quote unquote communists out there. Look at Hassan Piker; he's one of the biggest ones.
So my biggest question is, how would I achieve that? And my deciding point is I'm going to have to treat it like some kind of college course where you're going to have to write like a 10-page essay on why this country is correct. And that's going to have two benefits. Number one, it's going to show that you have high level thought about why the philosophy of this country is valuable. And number two, it's going to demonstrate that you can speak English fluently. And I want this essay tested, or you have to, just like a college paper or something, you got to check it for plagiarism and AI. And we need someone trustworthy to review it. You got to have like a guy who himself actually believes in these things and will vet. And then as I'm saying this, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why am I going this hard to try to bring certain people into this country? Again, this is all under the theory that there are a select few very high level, high value immigrants who want to come here and build things in this country that will provide opportunity for Americans. That's the theory that I'm operating under. Is that a long list of people? No, I think it's quite slim. But I do think that this country is improved when we get that sort of person here in terms of opportunity provided for us and wealth built here. It's just we have to be very careful and precise in making that evaluation. You guys agree or disagree?
Skulldugger, you want to go first?
Yes, I agree for the most part, especially if we're assuming that illegal immigration is down to zero and we now get full control over what immigration looks like. I mean, if you do the moratorium, it's going to have to be for a limited amount of time just so you can gauge how many immigrants do we actually need, because I know this is going to piss off a lot of people in chat and people who listen to this show. We do need a certain amount of legal immigration in order to maintain a workforce in this country, because we don't because we don't reproduce enough workers ourselves. Our birth rate the fertility replacement rate is not where it needs to be for this country. So we need to bring in workers from the outside, especially with the generational shift of boomers hitting retirement and creating a draw on all of these programs with no longer adding to them.
Why isn't improving our own birth rate the answer, though? Is it just not, you don't think it's realistic?
That takes 20 years.
I guess,
Sure, go ahead and start that now. That's going to take 20 years.
We definitely should, but yeah, I agree that it's a difficult faucet to turn on.
Right. It's going to be 20 years before those people are in the workforce. So unless you have a time machine, you can go 20 years in the past and create those policies back then. So we have the workers now.
We have to bring in the super specialized high skill immigrant I was talking about is the time machine developer who's going to allow these things. That's how we're going to fix it.
There we go. Yeah. So, I mean, you're going to need to be able to assess what type of immigration you need in order to sustain the workforce that is required in order to keep our social programs afloat. So, because the alternative is economic collapse, and I don't think anybody wants to see that. So, yeah, so controlling that immigration is a good. It is a necessary thing to do, but that requires, as you just demonstrated, Matt, it requires a high level of administration, because you have all these things that you have to consider, and all of that administration is going to end up requiring funding itself. So it's just a matter of, like, you have to end up doing a cost benefit analysis. So you have to find out where are the high benefit immigrants coming from, and those are the ones that we need to target.
Yeah, my entire analysis rests on the premise that there are high value immigrants sufficient to justify that calculation. And it's possible that that's not true. That might be mistaken, that the wealth and opportunity gained through that sort of proposal is actually dwarfed by the administrative cost of trying to do it.
Well, the other thing that you need to do is either shut off HB1 visas or include their families. Because just bringing over one member of a 7-member family and having them do all of the work, gain all of the salary, and then just ship it back to India is not doing anybody any benefits here.
But then we're going to have more suck-deep truck drivers, and that's going to be a problem.
But the thing is, if you bring their family over, then it gives them an incentive to invest themselves in America. Because now their family is here, not back home. This is now home. You want to make America their home, so they have a reason to be invested in their home. As it is right now, we're bringing over one individual that is supporting 7, 8, 9, 10 people back home. They have a different home.
But what happens when he brings his brother over? He stabs you with his Kirpin and says that you actually attacked him racially.
Well,
then it's a whole family affair too.
Well, then you riot in the streets.
Oh, right. We covered that. All right, Josh, you have a thought on this?
A lot of thoughts, but we're running out of time. There is at least, I do agree with Skulldugger. You can't just completely get rid of all the immigrants because the birth rate is low. I do think that something like that would actually take more than 20 years because you were talking about a social engineering thing that took place for almost a century now, right? You have to kind of, I don't know, kind of condition people or even create incentives of them producing babies, right? You can't, that's not something that's going to happen overnight. That's going to take decades to kind of bounce back our population. So you do need those immigrants here. The other thing that most people don't really consider, that if I were in charge, that's a scary thought for many of you, I understand, but is also, let's just say that for all intents and purposes, I'm the ruler of this nation, and this nation is predominantly Orthodox. The last thing I want to do is import a bunch of people with Catholic beliefs. So nobody really understands the cultural and even religious aspects of how that can shift a nation.
All right.
That was our original immigration plan, was no Catholics.
Yeah, we're going back to basics.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, before we get into that, thanks to our emailers. As a reminder, if you'd like to send a voicemail, text message, email for consideration on the show, you can do that through the contact page on my website, mattchristiansenmedia.com/contact. I don't know how effective that lightning round was, but we're going to have to lightning round these.
It was not. It's more like a rolling thunder round.
I did my best.
Maybe. We're going to have to lightning round these super chats as well, but we want to give proper consideration to our super chatters. So let's see what we got.
We can just skip the ones that are taking shots at me because I know there's going to be several now.
We'll see if anybody does. Tim says, "Son of a bitch, it's been a long time since I've had tech problems actually go live on air. I'm normally good at pretending I'm good at my job. Apparently not tonight. Also found out what's the censored word from the Nowak call was. Send it to your phone." Okay, so well, first of all, it's pretty minor for the caller. Oh, so the censored word was fucker, apparently. I guess they just censored it for vulgarity.
I thought that word was okay to broadcast in the UK.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Thank you, Tim. Taker says, "Can you tell Skulldugger to Skulldugger's dog to
get out of my fucking shot?"
He made too many appearances, or she. I don't know if it.
I did. Don't worry, I killed him. He's gone.
No, maybe needs a shock collar. You gonna go Hassan Piker on that dog?
He's not worth the money for the shock collar. Those things are expensive.
I guess I've never looked. What do they cost?
I think they start at like $80.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Taker.
I don't have Hassan Piker money. I'm not a rich socialist.
Newbie says, "If trans women are women, how come no women can be trans women?" It's an interesting way to think about it.
Look, I'm already confused enough with all these people.
Makes sense, though.
That last guy, the guy in the voice of John Redcorn, that one really confused me because I thought the person he was dating was a woman, correct? Transitioning into a dude?
Yes, I think. It was very bizarre. I'm trying to remember.
Because I think it was you, Skulldugger, who was just trying to explain it to me, and I just had this really confused look on my face.
That was the one where it was a heterosexual gay relationship.
Yeah, it might have been.
That doesn't even make sense.
It might have been man who transitioned to female.
It shouldn't make sense, but somehow it was.
No, it was heterosexual gay because it was a woman transitioning to man. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, something like that.
But if she's, if she's biologically a woman, that technically doesn't make it gay though.
It's still gay.
Like gay adjacent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
Because because they're pretending like it's two dudes. So they're like,
it's gay in its desires.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Purpose of the ages, no sympathy. She's not a victim. So this is about Dr. J, Dr. Gay. She is victimizing the right by swaying the moderates to believe her lies while the moderates turn their backs on the right. This is her strategy, not her sickness. She is consumed with evil. I wouldn't say that any of those points are wrong. When I say sympathy, as we were talking about earlier, what I mean is like so consumed and so lost in a delusional, deranged worldview that yes, has the effect of victimizing other people. Anybody who is trying to kill themselves is a victim of something, I would say. It doesn't mean that a victim of an affliction that we should all want healed. It doesn't mean, again, that we excuse this person of the justice that is due to them. But what I guess what I'm saying is this is a massively suffering person. And
yeah, and that's
in addition to
kind
the
of,
justice, I would hope for a relief from the suffering.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to. The fact that she's walking through hell right now. That's why I'm being sympathetic. But I also agree that she shouldn't escape the earthly consequences for her actions. That's basically what I was saying.
But she's refusing to leave hell, so fuck her.
I know that, but that doesn't mean I can. That doesn't mean I just lose sympathy for that, right? I do feel sorry for that person because they refuse to leave hell. But at the same time, should she be punished for what she did? Absolutely.
I can only extend sympathy one way. It's either going to be to her or the people she's victimizing. And at this point, I have the sympathy for the people she's victimizing, so she can go kick rocks.
Speaking of kicking rocks, here's the super chat calling out Skulldugger. All right. The amount of confidence Skull has while totally misunderstanding the Lego story makes me second guess the other things he has confidently spoken about. Scully,
I would suggest you look into multiple sources. You might be looking at this from one perspective. If you research this topic from multiple sources and perspectives, you get a completely different view on the story.
He's absolutely right.
I don't know if he is or not. He does say he does have a question for you.
Are you a gay man?
Yeah. No.
Prove it. Now tell me about the Lego again. All right. Thank you, Purse of the Ages. I have no idea. I can't properly be an arbitrator, whatever. I don't know. I can't settle this matter because I don't know what happened in the Lego case.
Whatever the actual story is, it's crazy either way. Like there's the fact that it's gone this far, and that the FBI might actually have to get involved in order to extradite this guy from Mexico is insane.
Long Dong John, isn't it a little sad that when the UK riots, nothing gets stolen? So how many pairs of new shoes did Joshy Boy get in 2020? I don't know. Did you get any cool Jordans in 2020, Joshy, in the summer?
No, man, I was at work.
Loser. Missed an opportunity. Taker 610, you guys seen the videos of the guy that played Creed in The Office in well-known 60s band? Wait, hold on. You guys seen the videos of the guy that played Creed in The Office with a capital O, so I assume that means the show, playing in well-known 60s band The Grassroots. He was reportedly fired for LSD. No idea what any of that is about.
No.
I know even less about that than I do about the Lego story.
To answer your question, I did not hear about it.
I'm sorry, Taker. Thank you for supporting the show. Injured Guardian says, Matt, Vig B is a name, as in Vig Vagina, is a name pun. Me, no, he's an Italian loan shark. P.S. Joshy went hard X. That's true, I heard that. PPS, Texas, Alaska, and Oklahoma could export energy. It's not
kiss my ass
by government. I heard you say axe.
When?
It was earlier. I asked you about it. I don't know the timestamp, but people will find it if they want.
Tim, can we roll that tape?
Yeah, I want to hear the solid evidence of what I asked.
We'll cut it. Injured Guardian says more Christian South African immigrants, please. Remember when they took in like 20 refugees and it was a huge controversy last year?
Yeah, only 20, by the way.
It was something small like that. I can't remember what it was, but okay, just a couple on Rumble. We'll call it a night. Thank you, by the way, Injured Guardian. Steve OUK, gods change over time. Christians tortured and mass murdered for hundreds of years, but condemn it now. Science and tech should be used to better mankind without involving the supernatural. Well, I wouldn't say that God... I wouldn't say that the supernatural is the relevant component here. What I would say is a moral authority. And I don't agree with the premise that moral authority changes over time. I do believe there is a moral order to this world that is objective. There are rules of right and wrong that are eternal. They don't change with time. Murder was as wrong for the cavemen as it was for the case of Vikram Digwa and Henry Nowak. And that's because there is an eternal moral truth, a moral principle against the unjustified taking of human life and human life's inherent value. Yeah. I know that there's plenty of supernatural component to God. Obviously, that's a big part of Scripture and the concept of faith as well. So I'm not saying that you're wrong to bring that into it. I couldn't agree with the premise gods change over time for that reason. If God is the author of the moral framework, that does not change over time. That is eternal. That is constant.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk about is God trans? Does he change in that way? I know he's not binary. Thank you, Steve.
He for a reason.
I invite a response too if you want to email me, Steve, or talk about this further. Science and tech should be used to better mankind. But why? I mean, without a moral authority, what is the value of mankind? What is the value of those lives? Why should those things be bettered? Without a moral authority, from what does science gather its rules? Or
I mean, you have all kinds of...
From what or where do you derive your ought in that?
Yeah.
And we have all kinds of movies and games that kind of explore this idea already. How far are you willing to go to better humanity without ethics or morals?
And Steve, oh, by the way, I don't say that to be dismissive at all. I mean that that's not a rhetorical question. I would invite your response to it if you'd like to continue the conversation. And thanks for supporting the show.
You should also join the MC Club so we can hash that out in the debate.
There's a debate channel in the server. I bet Skulldugger will go after you in there for a long time. Probably the debate champion of the server.
Am I the champion? I don't know that I've won maybe any of those. So
I guess I meant volume. I don't know if you won.
Yeah, that's true.
I've actually had some interesting discussions in the debate channel on exactly this topic, like moral authority, God, religion, all that stuff.
If I wasn't working so much, I'll probably chime in more. But
well, you do enough. You wish each faggot a good morning.
I am consistent on that.
Laughing boy, you can still kill a motherfucker and forgive them. The point is, can you live in polite society? If you can't, you get ganked. Okay, so this is the topic about being redeemable. And I certainly take Skulldugger's point that redeemable in terms of what risk society is obligated to expect, or is expected to accept rather, is much different than redeemable in the eyes of our moral authority, which is what we're talking about earlier. And I certainly agree that if you can't participate in society without violating the rights of other people, you are not redeemable in terms of... There are things you can do to be not redeemable in terms of social participation, for sure.
Correct.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it comes to capital punishment, that's the kindest thing you can do for society is to remove that person.
Yeah, you have to if you're going to protect people.
Like I said before, some people just need killing.
Well, I mean, if it comes down to these individuals who are somehow not sane or competent enough to stand trial or go to prison, or like if there's no other solution for them, then
capital punishment is
then just end them. Then they also can't be in society. If they're too deranged to be removed from society, then they're obviously too deranged to be in society. So there's no place for them.
Yeah, but these people clearly aren't insane. They have premeditated thoughts in there. They plan this out. It's just the fact that the officials don't want to enforce the law because they hate the people they govern. So they let these lunatics just run amok.
Then we riot and kill the officials. In Minecraft
in Roblox
with Steyer Oggs in Call of Duty
video game.
All right, we got to get out of here. Appreciate everybody, but I'm trying to cut. I'm like I can't do 3-hour shows. I shouldn't be doing that, and then I do 3-hour shows.
It's California's fault for having the weirdest election of all time.
We're still waiting for the results. That's why we're still streaming.
Yeah.
All right. We will call it there. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Thanks to our live chatters and super chatters for making the live show a success. If you're listening on demand later, thank you kindly as well for supporting the show. Thanks to our callers, emailers. Thanks to Joshy Boy and Skulldugger for joining. Thanks to producer Tim for his assistance. Find everything show-related at mattchristiansenmedia.com or mattis.gay. I'll be back on Sunday. Have a great week. Until then.
Good night, you lovely people.
Time to go smoke.
Matrimony.